Second part. Chapter 21. Is that my grandson? You call him trash? Yi Kwang felt very distressed when he saw his son become like this, and comforted him. Konger, you have to cheer up. Your grandfather has now become a quasi-emperor, and he can definitely restore you to your original state. Experiencing more setbacks in life is not necessarily a bad thing. You still have a long way to go in the future, so you must not sink into it. Thinking about the suffering you suffered today, don't you want to take revenge with your own hands? The road to cultivation is extremely cruel, and if you want to reach the top, you must have a firm mind. The most important thing right now is to help Yi Kwang regain his confidence, otherwise even if he recovers as before, he won't make much progress in the future. Yi Kwang was indifferent to the first two sentences, but the last sentence had an effect, and his eyes began to become firm. He clenched his fists tightly, and his endless hatred made him cheer up again and said hysterically, Yi Chen, I will definitely let you die without a burial place. Sooner or later, there will be such a day. Murong Shue's body trembled. She originally wanted to say a few words of persuasion, but seeing the hatred in the other person's eyes, she had to swallow the words that came to her lips. For fear of irritating Yi Kwang again, tears fell unconsciously at the thought, feeling that she was a failed mother. If he could care more about Yi Chen, the current situation would not be caused. It would be great to have harmony between brothers. But it's too late to say anything now. After doing such a thing, it is impossible for Yi Chen to return to the Yi family. Okay, that's it. Yi Kwang was very happy to see Yi Kwang cheering up again, and turned to look at Yi Tianhe. Father, thank you for your hard work. Yi Tianhe didn't say anything more. His spiritual consciousness entered Yi Kwang's body and carefully observed the situation inside his body. You won't know if you don't see it, but you will be shocked after seeing it. Even if you have seen countless big scenes, you will be shocked and fell down. This person's methods are extremely vicious. All the meridians and dantian have been shattered to pieces, making it extremely difficult to repair. In particular, the space divine body has turned into countless fragments and merged into the flesh and blood of the whole body. It may be extremely difficult to reunite it. Yi Kwang lowered his head when he heard this, his nails pierced into his flesh and blood continued to flow downwards. If there is no space god body, what is the difference between him and ordinary monks? As a result, it is impossible to seek revenge against Yi Chen. This result is not what you want. I'm not willing to give in. I'm not willing to give in. Yi Kwang looked up to the sky and screamed, constantly venting the hatred in his heart, hoping to alleviate all pain. Murong Shui was so distressed that she quickly went up to hug Yi Kwang. She was afraid that he would do something stupid, so she comforted him softly. Konger, don't worry. There is a Hualong pond in my mother's family. The water in the pond contains supreme divinity. It can help you reshape your physique, restore your cultivation, and stabilize the Tao foundation. If you are lucky, you can also understand the secret technique. My mother is the former saint of the family. She has a chance to enter, and now she transfers it to you. Don't be discouraged, everything will pass. In fact, when she originally planned to break through to the Holy Emperor realm, she would enter it and practice to increase her chances of success. It's a pity that something like this happened, so we can only give the opportunity to Yi Kwang to help him return to his peak. Hearing this, Yi Kwang felt hope ignited in his heart. Thank you, mother. My child will not let you down. As long as he could restore his space body in cultivation, there would be infinite possibilities in the future, and he naturally did not want to continue to sink. The Murong family's Hualong pond does have magical effects that defy the heavens. In this way, the problem will be solved. Let me help Konger repair the meridians and dantian first. Yi Tianhe has naturally heard of the reputation of Hualong pond, which is a supreme divine object, something that countless powerful people covet. It is said that tens of thousands of years ago, the great emperor of the Murong family obtained it from outside the territory, and later placed it in the family for the use of outstanding descendants. Now that Murong Shui has given up this opportunity, she believes that it is easy to restore the space body, so Yi Kwang no longer has any worries. Thank you for your hard work, Grandpa. Please help me repair my meridians and dantian. My grandson is very grateful. Yi Kong turned around and knelt down. Yi Tianhe helped Yi Kong up and said solemnly, "It's okay, but the process is very painful. You must endure it, otherwise all your efforts will be wasted. The meridians and dantian are so broken that they need to be spliced bit by bit, which is very tedious and painful. There must be no mistakes during the process. Grandpa, don't worry, my grandson can do it." Yi Chen's eyes were very firm. Yi Tianhe nodded and took out a large number of heavenly materials and earthly treasures, such as the starry heart, blue flame bone, earthly soul emulsion, heavenly spirit, etc., each of which was very precious. Using powerful power, extract the essence and integrate it into Yi Kong's body, and then carefully splice the broken meridians and dantian. Murong Shui and Yi Kuang took the initiative to protect the Dharma beside them to avoid any accidents in the process. At this time, Yi Kong's body was trembling continuously, and his face was distorted, as if he had experienced great pain. If it weren't for my endless hatred for Yi Chen, I probably wouldn't be able to survive. Fortunately, everything went smoothly. After 3 days, the broken meridians and dantian were finally spliced together, and then they just need to be warmed up for a period of time. Murong Shui didn't want to waste a moment, hoping that her son could recover his cultivation as soon as possible, so he immediately rushed to the Murong family with Yi Kong. After the two left, Yi Tianhe's eyes fell on Yi Kuang and asked calmly, "Can you tell that young man his origin now? I heard something unusual from the conversations between several people before. In order not to affect Yi Kong, I suppressed my doubts and didn't ask. Now that both of them have left, there is naturally nothing to worry about." Yi Kuang's face turned green and white. He really didn't know how to speak. He stayed silent for a long time before telling Yi Chen his identity truthfully. "What? That's my grandson?" Yi Tianhe's whole body felt bad. The result was unacceptable to him. Are you kidding me? Was it his grandson who destroyed the entire Yi family regardless of blood ties? Seriously hurt your parents? Abandon my brother? The plot is not only bloody but also very crazy. As a powerful quasi-emperor, Yi Tianhe can't believe it. I don't know how long it took before I calmed down and thought about it carefully, thinking that there must be some hidden secret. After all, the human heart is made of flesh. This little grandson of mine must have gone through something, otherwise how could he be so ruthless and unjust? Then he kept asking Yi Kuang about the causes and consequences, trying to figure out what happened between the two parties. Yi Kuang is still unrepentant and keeps slandering Yi Chen, saying that Yi Chen is a waste, ungrateful, bullying his teachers and destroying his ancestors, and has long fallen into the demon Dao. Little did he know that Yi Tianhe was an old man, and he roughly guessed what happened from a few words, and suddenly became very angry. After all, you are also a strong saint emperor, how can you actually say such a thing? No matter what method Yi Chen used, he actually exploded with power comparable to that of a quasi-emperor. Do you call him a waste? What kind of ungratefulness is there for bullying my master and destroying my ancestors? You are not the one who forced me to do so. I'm so disappointed in you. Yi Tianhe was so angry that he was trembling all over. He kept scolding Yi Kuang in front of him, and Cui Mo Xingzi almost drowned him. A good young talent was forced to betray the family. If he was really capable, he could not wait to slap Yi Kuang to death. How could I give birth to a son like you? It's all for nothing. Yi Kuang lowered his head, so scared that he didn't even dare to fart. Who knew that the person in front of him was his father? Chapter 22 Poison Swamp. Yi Tianhe kept chattering and scolding for a long time, and he didn't stop until he was tired. Now it's useless to say anything. We can only see if there is a chance to make amends in the future. The most important thing right now is to rebuild the Yi family first. It is impossible to stay in Beiliang City when it is in ruins. We can only go to other places. The place where the Liang dynasty and the Tang dynasty met. Yi Chen was lying in the swamp to heal his injuries. 3 days ago, he used the space jumping technique and accidentally fell into a dangerous place, the poison swamp. There are a lot of poisons in it, almost all of which contain extremely poisonous substances. It is rumored that the poisons are as powerful as saints and strong men. It is unknown whether they are true or not. Yi Chen originally wanted to kill a wave of poisons, make up for the lost lifespan, and improve his cultivation at the same time. Unexpectedly, the Holy Emperor's cultivation experience card time has come, and the realm instantly returns to the first layer of the sky control realm, and the power of the increase in the killing divine body gradually disappears. Then he couldn't suppress the previous injuries, and the terrifying backlash almost caused him to ascend to the sky. He directly lost the ability to move and sank into the swamp, unable to move. During this period, many poisonous creatures passed by and took a bite from time to time. Fortunately, we were on the outskirts of the poison swamp, so those poisonous creatures were not very strong. Even so, a large amount of toxins accumulated in the body, and it took 3 days to regain any ability to move. Bah, you damn thing, if you dare to bite me, I will definitely kill you later. Yi Chen struggled to climb out of the swamp, looking extremely embarrassed. Ragged clothes, covered in mud. His hair was wet and stuck to his scalp. He looked like a refugee who had just experienced a disaster, even a bit more miserable than a beggar. In order to avoid an accident, Yi Chen did not dare to delay at all and quickly found a safe and hidden place to recover from his injuries. He took out a few Guyuan Dan and put them into his mouth, and the majestic energy immediately spread out in his body. After half a day of hard work, Yi Chen's injuries had mostly recovered, and his mental state was obviously much better. Night falls. The atmosphere in the poison swamp. It seems to be getting more and more weird and eerie. The poisonous substances around him seemed to be smelling Yi Chen's breath and began to gather in his direction. Various poisonous creatures such as Rakshasa Lwan, ghost poison mosquito, shaman ant, cold scorpion, and deathly toad appeared around him one after another, forming a creepy scene. Huh, you came just in time. Yi Chen was not afraid, but laughed, rushed in and started killing. The most powerful poison was comparable to the innate realm monks, and was not his enemy at all. After a while, countless strange blood flowed across the sky, and venom flew all over the sky. The heavenly demon killing skill works like crazy, plundering the energy spilled from the dead poison, making up for the lost lifespan, and taking advantage of the situation to improve one's own cultivation. The silver hair on his head turned black at a speed visible to the naked eye. After killing all the poisons, he reached the second layer of the sky control realm, and his lifespan increased by 10,000 years. Huh, it's so cool. It's like a dungeon for gaining experience. The host gets a new mission, sweeping the poisonous swamp and killing the poisons in it. Kill 50,000 poisonous creatures, and the reward realm will be upgraded by 1 level. Kill 100,000 poisonous creatures, and the reward realm will be upgraded to 1 level, Great Emperor Divine Ability. Kill the 3-headed phoenix of Ming Han, destroy the entire poison swamp, and the reward realm will be upgraded to 3 levels in a row, Quasi-Emperor Cultivation Experience Card ×1, Supreme Divine Weapon 9 Dragon Demonic Sword. The 3-headed phoenix of Ningen is the overlord of the 10,000 poison swamps and possesses the strength of the Holy King Realm's second layer. The host needs to be careful in dealing with it. Limited to 3 days. Damn, Tongzi, are you too crazy? Yi Chen was shocked when he heard the content of the mission. Without saying a word, he let himself kill the entire poison swamp. This system was simply too cruel. The host is currently too weak and needs endless killing to become stronger. This system is necessary to help you improve your strength quickly. Hey, it suits me, then let's kill like crazy. Yi Chen naturally wouldn't resist. Whoever asked the system to give too much would bring out all the Great Emperor Divine Ability Supreme Weapons. What's more important is the Quasi-Emperor's Cultivation Experience card, which is definitely a powerful trump card to save his life. Whatever he says today, it will overwhelm the entire poison swamp. Along the way, he killed poisonous creatures whenever he saw them. Yi Chen did not try to persuade him at all, and at dawn he finally killed 50,000 poisonous creatures. There are a large number of broken limbs and broken arms scattered around the entire swamp, which looks like a purgatory and makes people shudder. During this period, Yi Chenlu's heavenly demon skill continued to operate, and his cultivation level was promoted to the 4th layer of the sky control realm, and his lifespan was increased by 50,000 years. After collecting the souls of so many poisons, the 10,000 soul banner advanced into the high-grade king weapon, and its power became even more terrifying. The host kills 50,000 poisonous creatures and the reward realm is upgraded by 1 level. 5th layer of the Royal Sky Realm. The endless killings have made the killing divine body extremely excited. Its strength amplification has reached a level comparable to the 10,000 Dharma realm, and the evil spirit around the body has almost become a substance. Yi Chen fought his way deep into the swamp. During the process, the poisons he encountered became more and more powerful. Almost all of them had strength above innate realm, but the number was relatively smaller. After spending a day and night killing about 30,000 poisonous creatures, the poisonous swamp became empty, and almost most of the poisonous creatures died in his hands. The cultivation level has reached the 7th layer of the Sky Control Realm. Damn, the poisons are getting less and less, can't we just make up the quantity? Yi Chen couldn't help but worry. Poisonous people were not very intelligent, but they were not fools either. Many of them hid when they saw him killing like crazy. It was very troublesome to search for him, and he also encountered several poisonous substances that were comparable to those in the Shattering Void realm. The poisonous gas they spewed could even corrode the space, causing him a lot of trouble. After thinking for a while, in order not to waste time, Yi Chen immediately used the Holy King Cultivation Experience card. The host uses the Holy King Cultivation Experience card to randomly obtain the Holy King's 7th layer cultivation, which lasts for 3 hours. Poison, who was still showing his teeth and claws, suddenly became trembling. He looked at Yi Chen in front of him in horror and kept retreating, trying to escape from this place. There's no way to escape. Yi Chen sacrificed the 10,000 souls banner, and countless souls flew out. With the blessing of powerful spiritual power, each one became very terrifying, instantly obliterating hundreds of poisonous creatures in front of him. Then they spread out and hunted the hidden poisons, and their efficiency immediately increased. Yi Chen released all his spiritual consciousness to look for traces of the three-headed phoenix of Ming Han. The opponent had the strength of the Holy King realm, so he believed he would be able to find it soon. But things happened beyond his expectation. After several searches, he still couldn't find the three-headed phoenix of Ming Han, which made him dumbfounded. How to complete the mission if I can't find the target to kill? Could it be that it was hidden in advance? The 10,000 poison swamp covers hundreds of thousands of miles, so you can't really dig 3 feet into the ground. It's just so annoying. Tongzi, please give me a hint. Yi Chen became anxious. He could only maintain his Holy King cultivation for 3 hours. If he couldn't find it, he would probably have to run away with the bucket. The three-headed phoenix of Ningen is hidden in the poison swamp. Please be patient in searching for the host. There are always more solutions than difficulties. Yi Chen shrugged, knowing that the system was unreliable. Chapter 23 Underground Palace. Yi Chen guessed that Ming Han's three-headed phoenix might be hiding underground, so he used his spiritual sense to explore the depths of the ground. However, there is a special power deep in the swamp. Divine consciousness can only penetrate to a depth of 10,000 meters. Below that, there is chaos, and it is impossible to see clearly what is going on inside. The host kills 100,000 poisonous creatures, and the reward realm is upgraded to the Great Emperor Divine ability. Netherworld Breaking Heaven / After practicing to the extreme, the sword energy can enter the 9 netherworld enemies, and the sword energy can cut through the sky. Sky Control Realm 8th Layer. Damn, I almost forgot. Yi Chen patted his head, and the system prompts him to realize that the 10,000 soul banner now has almost 100,000 souls. They were all sent out to search the depths of the ground. I believe there will be results soon. I thought of waving the 10,000 souls banner to recall all the souls. Order them all to go deep underground and report back immediately if they find anything. Immediately, 100,000 souls suddenly dispersed, rushing towards the depths of the ground, and brought back the good news in half an hour. Several souls discovered that there was a terrifying palace hidden deep underground thousands of miles away, and it seemed that there was some powerful being sleeping. Hearing this, the corner of Yi Chen's mouth slightly raised. He finally found the trace of Ming Han's three-headed phoenix, and galloped in that direction without hesitation. After arriving at the destination, Yi Chen directly used the nether sky-breaking slash he had just obtained without saying anything. Since there is no suitable magic weapon, he can only concentrate his spiritual power on his arm, and then slash downwards. In an instant, a cold light flashed, followed by a terrifying force bursting out. The entire swamp was torn in half in an instant, and it was cut hundreds of miles underground. The power of this blow was jaw-dropping. A mysterious palace slowly rose from the ground, made of countless bones, exuding a creepy ghostly atmosphere. The palace seems to be the entrance to hell, which makes people shudder. Who dares to disturb my slumber? A faint voice of questioning came from the palace, as if it came from an evil ghost under the 9 netherworld. As the sound sounded, the bone palace quickly rose into the sky, like a huge bone castle, suspended in the air. Immediately afterwards, an extremely cold aura spurted out from the palace, instantly freezing the swamp and quagmire thousands of miles away. Pretend to be a ghost, come out and talk. Facing such a terrifying scene, Yi Chen showed no fear. His eyes flashed with the light of a fairy and demon. The light was so dazzling that it seemed to be able to penetrate all darkness. With a sudden wave of his hand, powerful power surged out, directly blasting towards the bone palace. With a loud noise, the bone palace collapsed, and countless bone fragments flew everywhere. Bone fragments fell down like raindrops, whistling with the fierce wind. The main Holy Emperor cultivation experience card is halfway through, and it must be killed quickly, otherwise the mission will not be completed. Most of the bone fragments fell down, and a woman's figure was vaguely visible among them. She was surrounded by a demonic aura, and looking at Yi Chen, her eyes revealed a terrifying chill. It turned out to be the person from Monster Race. No wonder he was hidden so deeply and made me spend so much time searching for him. Yi Chen was stunned when he saw this. He originally thought that the 3-headed phoenix was just a powerful poison, but he didn't expect it to be a Monster Race strongman. It is not difficult for Yi Chen to kill the poisonous creatures, because the poisonous creatures are all unintelligent ferocious beasts, and they basically act on instinct. No matter how powerful the poison is, it will not have too much wisdom. On the contrary, the Monster Race is completely different. Their training method is similar to that of the human race, and they are born with the ability to speak. Once the Monster Race reaches the innate realm, it can condense the beast core and transform into a human form. Not only does it have a body as powerful as the ferocious beast, but it also has a long lifespan and the same wisdom as the human race. The unique talent gives Monster Race a great advantage on the road of cultivation, which can be said to be unique. Yi Chen did not dare to take it lightly, and used all his strength to activate the Samsara Immortal Demon Eyes, summoning the Samsara Heavenly Disc to suppress the 10,000 poison swamps, and hundreds of thousands of God-fiend shadows to block all directions. Ming Han's 3-headed phoenix's expression changed drastically. He felt a strong threat and suddenly showed a solemn expression. We have no enmity, why would fellow Taoist attack me? If possible, she would naturally not want to conflict with Yi Chen, fearing that it would end badly if more powerful people were attracted to her. No grudge, I just want to kill you. Yi Chen's eyes were cold, the dual pupils suddenly flipped, and spewed out like fire from the underworld, with a breath of terror and destruction, and instantly swallowed up the 3-headed phoenix of Nether Cold. The fire of the netherworld burned blazingly, shrouding the 3-headed phoenix of Netherfrost, making it impossible to escape. Hundreds of thousands of God-fiend shadows rushed away, waving various divine weapons in their hands, each blow containing amazing power. At the same time, the Samsara sky disk also began to rotate slowly, making a low roar. An even more terrifying force of suppression surged out from the plate, sweeping in like a tsunami, as if it was going to crush the entire world. Under this terrifying force of suppression, the surrounding space began to distort and deform, and time seemed to slow down. The 3-headed phoenix of Nether Cold felt unprecedented pressure. It struggled to break free from the shackles of the netherworld fire, but to no avail. Damn it, why? Damn it! The 3-headed phoenix of Ming Han was completely panicked. It never expected that Yi Chen would suddenly take action, and every time he took action, there were several terrifying divine abilities. Without thinking, it quickly manifested its true form and instantly turned into a huge 3-headed black phoenix. Its whole body was filled with the light of the netherworld, trying to resist the suppression of the reincarnation disk and the spread of the netherworld fire. However, Yi Chen's attack was too fierce, and Ming Han's three-headed phoenix quickly fell into a disadvantage. At this critical moment, it had no choice but to spit out the elixir in its body. The strong monstrous power formed a light curtain, barely resisting the impact of Godfiend's shadow. Seeing this, Yi Chen couldn't help but frown slightly. I originally thought that my offensive could easily kill Ming Han's three-headed phoenix, but I didn't expect that this guy had so many tricks and could actually resist his own killing power. Compared with the human race monks of the same level, the three-headed phoenix of Ningen is indeed much stronger. Fortunately, he has many methods, otherwise he may not be able to defeat the opponent. Thinking of this, Yi Chen had no reservations anymore. He consumed all the spiritual energy in his body and concentrated it on his arms, performing the great emperor-level divine ability Nether Skybreaking Slash. The power was several times more powerful than the one he had just unleashed. The terrifying sword energy struck the beast core of Ming Han's three-headed phoenix for thousands of miles. Bang! A deep mark appeared on the surface of beast core, and the light emitted flickered on and off. The phantom of Godfiend broke through the defense and caused serious damage to the three-headed phoenix. As a result, he became even more unable to withstand the suppression of the reincarnation disk, and his body cracked, spilling a large amount of blood. Chapter 24 The Three-Headed Phoenix of Ming Han explodes. Ah! Unwilling to be sealed, the three-headed phoenix of Ming Han looked up to the sky and roared, the sound like thunder, resounding throughout the world. The body exudes a crazy aura and resolutely burns the blood and essence in the body, which is equivalent to a monk burning his own lifespan. Forcibly raising the strength to a level comparable to that of the Holy King Realm 9th layer, the three heads opened their mouths at the same time and spit out a large amount of cold breath. When Godfiend encountered this cold breath, he turned into lifelike ice sculptures and fell into the swamp one after another. The nether flame was also affected. The fire gradually weakened and was suppressed by the cold air. Ming Han's three-headed phoenix took this opportunity, and its 100-foot-long monster body rose into the air and rushed towards the Samsara sky pan. The monstrous power in the body was like a volcanic eruption, rushing directly towards the reincarnation disk. The aftermath of the collision swept thousands of miles around. Wherever he passed, the space continued to fragment, forming patches of pitch-black nothingness. Click, click. Under the impact of this powerful force, cracks began to appear in the Samsara heavenly disk, and they spread rapidly, eventually completely collapsing. Ming Han's three-headed phoenix stared at Yi Chen and said in a cold tone, "Damn human race, I will definitely kill you. I don't know how long it will take to recover from the burning essence and blood. It can be said that I paid a heavy price this time. I really want to eat the human race in front of me alive." Yi Chen showed no fear, and with a flash of his body, he rushed forward and started a fierce battle with Ming Han's three-headed phoenix. The aftermath of the battle shattered the space, the earth sank, mountains and trees collapsed, and the huge movement attracted many passing monks. What happened to the poison swamp? Oh my God, what a terrifying power. Let's go and take a look. Everyone was shocked, and some people bravely flew over to see what happened. Forget it, my life is still at stake. If such a terrifying force is swept in, not even the dregs will be left. Some monks are still very cautious, fearing that they will get burned. In the poisonous swamp, Yi Chen showed great power. Relying on the infinite spiritual power of the bug, the three-headed phoenix of Ming Han was defeated step by step, firmly gaining the upper hand. You can't hold on for long, so you should just die. The power obtained by burning essence and blood cannot last at all. I believe that the three-headed phoenix of Ming Han will not be able to hold on for long, and it will not be left to its own devices by then. It's not that easy to kill me. Naturally, the three-headed phoenix of Ming Han would not give up its resistance. Countless feathers shot out as it waved its wings, like a magical weapon. Yi Chen flipped his dual pupils, and a terrifying destructive power emerged from his left eye, annihilating the flying feathers. The battle at the Holy King level was extremely fierce, and it didn't take long before the entire poison swamp was completely destroyed. The deep quagmire completely sank, forming a huge pit. The surrounding peaks also collapsed, filling the air with smoke and dust. The poisonous swamp that once made people fearful was reduced to nothing, and some of the people who joined in the fun were also buried. The others were so frightened that they fled quickly and never dared to come near this place again. At this time, Ming Han's three-headed phoenix was very anxious, and the power he had forcibly increased began to decline. He realized that if he continued, he would probably die. Then he spurted out endless cold breath, condensed into a solid ice wall, then turned around and tore the space apart, dove in headfirst, and fled crazily into the distance. Damn it, if I let you run away, I might as well commit suicide. Yi Chen cursed secretly. In order to be on the safe side, he instantly burned 10,000 years of longevity, raised his strength to the level of the Holy Emperor, broke through the huge ice wall with one punch, and chased after the three-headed phoenix of Ming Han. The power in the deep space is very chaotic. Fortunately, dual pupils can see through the illusion, and his consciousness is firmly locked on the opponent. Otherwise, it is really possible for this guy to escape. Then he used the art of empty shadow, using the power of space to hide his aura, and quickly approached the three-headed phoenix of Ming Han. Phew, I finally got rid of that human race. Ming Han ran away for a long time before stopping, thinking that Yi Chen would definitely not be able to catch up with him. So he turned into a human and prepared to recover from his injuries first, otherwise it would be very dangerous to meet other strong people. Yeah. At this moment, Yi Chen suddenly appeared, and the Samsara immortal demonic eye shot out two rays of power, imprisoning the three-headed phoenix of Ming Han, making it unable to move. How is it possible? Ming Han's three-headed phoenix had a look of despair on his face. He didn't expect that he couldn't get rid of Yi Chen's pursuit even though he was circling around in the depths of the space. Now that all her strength was sealed, it was obviously impossible to continue escaping, which made her very unwilling. It took thousands of years of cultivation to reach the current state. Naturally, I didn't want to die like this, so I begged pitifully for mercy. Fellow Taoist, I am willing to be your mount and ride for you in the future. I hope you can spare my life. This is the only chance to survive right now. I believe no one can refuse a holy king-level mount. Yi Chen touched his nose and looked up and down at Ming Han's three-headed phoenix. His appearance and figure were pretty good, but unfortunately he was far behind compared to the supreme divine weapon. There was no need to think about the choice at all. It was definitely the latter. He shook his head and said, "Well, that's a good idea, but it's a pity that I don't like humans and beasts. I don't want to ride you." As soon as he finished speaking, his eyes spurted out fire from the underworld, all of which rushed into the body of the three-headed phoenix. Ah! The three-headed phoenix of Nether Cold howled in pain, and soon transformed into its true form, with netherworld flames penetrating through flesh and blood. Damn human race, I will make you pay a heavy price even if I die. The three-headed phoenix of Ningen burned all the essence and blood in its body, and its feathers stood up fiercely, almost to a level comparable to that of the Holy Emperor. There was a fierce look in his eyes, and he directly detonated the beast core in his body, wanting to drag Yi Chen to death together. Boom! Accompanied by a loud noise, a power that destroyed the world exploded. Damn, I was careless. Yi Chen secretly thought that something was wrong, and quickly used the space jumping technique to escape. Unfortunately, he was still half a step too late, and the power of self-destruction swept over him. Puff! Yi Chen vomited blood on the spot and was seriously injured. Fortunately, he teleported away at the critical moment, otherwise the end would have been even more miserable. Chapter 25 Divine Ability, Immortal Golden Body. The host kills the three-headed phoenix of Nether Cold, destroys the poisonous swamp, and the reward realm is upgraded to 3 levels in a row, the Quasi-Emperor Cultivation Experience card, and the Supreme Divine Weapon 9 Dragons Demonic Sword. 9 Dragon Demon Sword, Demon Tao Supreme, a powerful man, extracted his own supreme demon bone as the foundation and refined 9 dragons at the Great Emperor level. The sword contains supreme demonic nature. Sky Control 9th layer. Divine Ability Realm 1st layer. Divine Ability Realm 2nd layer. Yi Chen couldn't care less about being happy. The impact of Mingan's three-headed phoenix's self-destruction caused problems with the space-jumping technique. He didn't even know where he was teleported, and he encountered a terrifying space storm, and he almost lost his life. He tried his best to tear apart the space and escape. Just as the Holy Emperor experience card time expired, the injuries he suffered began to bite back. Yi Chen was caught off guard and fell directly from the sky. Fortunately, he fell into a cold pool, which reduced the impact greatly, otherwise the injury would have been more serious. When I think about it, I feel very regretful. I said such unpleasant words and ended up as myself. If the three-headed phoenix of Ming Han was killed quickly at the beginning without giving the opponent a chance to self-destruct, how could there have been so many things? The so-called villain dies because he talks too much. I'm afraid this is where it comes from. Oh, what a huge loss. First of all, he failed to plunder the longevity and cultivation of the three-headed phoenix of Ningen. Otherwise, his realm would definitely be improved a lot, and his longevity would be increased a lot. The second is that the soul of the three-headed phoenix of Ning Han could not be collected, otherwise the soul of 10,000 souls would definitely be advanced into a holy weapon. Fortunately, the rewards given by the system are generous, otherwise I would really cry to death. Don't care too much. Yi Chen simply went to heal his injuries underwater. The main thing is that I don't know where to teleport to. It would be dangerous if I rashly go out and encounter a strong person. Guyuan Dan was stuffed into his mouth for free, and 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Not only did the injuries in his body recover as before, but he also broke through to the third layer of the golden body realm. As his strength becomes stronger and stronger, even without the increased power of the killing divine body, he can instantly kill any strong person of the same level, and fighting across levels is no problem. Yi Chen felt that there was nothing to do for the time being, so he started practicing the Dragon Elephant Heaven Suppressing technique. This technique was specifically designed to train the physical body and required him to make breakthroughs step by step. The Dragon Elephant Heaven Suppressing technique is divided into 10 levels. The training conditions are very harsh. It requires a strong body and strong blood. Yi Chen barely reached the threshold of cultivation. The first step is to continuously gather qi and blood to transform into an ancient dragon elephant. An ancient dragon elephant represents a huge force of 100,000 kilograms. Condensing 10 ancient dragon elephants and possessing millions of divine powers, one can imagine how difficult it would be to break through the first level. You must know that 1,000,000 kilograms of divine power can be compared to a strong person in the golden body realm. Stomping your feet can make the earth crack and smash a small hill. It is not a problem. After calming down a little, he activated the Dragon Elephant Heaven Suppressing technique, and the energy and blood in his body began to boil, running according to the designated route, during which the physical body was continuously tempered. Half a day passed, and the Dragon Elephant Heaven Suppressing technique circulated for 108 days, finally condensing an ancient dragon elephant, and its physical body gained 100,000 kilograms of strength. 2 ancient dragon elephants. 3 ancient dragon elephants. 10 ancient dragon elephants. It took 7 days for the Dragon Elephant Sky Suppressing technique to break through to the first level, achieving 1,000,000 kilograms of divine power. Yi Chen briefly familiarized himself with the power in his body, and then continued to practice the Dragon Elephant Heaven Suppressing technique. If he wanted to break through the second level, he would need to gather 100 ancient dragon elephants. And the further you go, the more difficult it becomes to condense the ancient dragon elephant. It took Yi Chen 2 days to successfully condense one. Of course, if there is strong blood and spiritual support, the speed can be much faster. Thinking of this, he quickly took out the dragon blood pill and took it. Immediately, a majestic power was released in the body, strengthening the physical body while replenishing the power of qi and blood. The speed of practicing the Dragon Elephant Heaven Suppressing technique increased instantly. After Yi Chen refined 100 dragon blood pills, the number of ancient dragon elephants reached 90, and he was not far away from breaking through the second level. The next step is to take the Phoenix pill and experience the feeling of being reborn from the ashes, with the physical strength and blood increasing crazily. It didn't take long for the number of ancient dragon elephants to reach 100, breaking through to the second level of the dragon elephant heaven-suppressing technique, and achieving tens of millions of kilograms of divine power. Yi Chen felt the power of his physical body and felt that he could break the space with just one punch. He estimated that he could compete with ordinary void-shattering realm experts. After refining the remaining Phoenix treasure pills, a total of 190 ancient dragon elephants were condensed. I am confident that with my physical body, I can definitely sweep away any strong person in the shattering void realm. As for whether it is true or false, we will need to find someone to verify it in the future. To break through the third level, you need to gather thousands of dragon elephants. Now without the aid of elixirs, the progress is very slow, and Yi Chen has temporarily stopped practicing. Compared with the physical body, the cultivation level has fallen a lot, and there are still a lot of Gu Yuan Dan left, so I simply continue to practice. Divine Ability Realm 4th Layer. Divine Ability Realm 5th Layer. Divine Ability Realm 9th Layer. Seeing that he was about to break through the Golden Body Realm, Yi Chen suddenly stopped practicing, with a look of confusion on his face, and murmured to himself. Why haven't I awakened my divine ability yet? Is it because I was disabled once? When a monk is in the divine ability realm, he will randomly awaken a kind of divine ability. Its power depends on the individual's talent and luck. For example, some people were born in Rome, while others were born as cows and horses. The difference is indescribable. Now that I have to cross this realm without awakening my divine ability, I really can't think of writing a sister. However, things are unpredictable. Just when Yi Chen was about to ask about the system, he suddenly felt a mysterious force appear in Absolute's body, and then a bright golden light appeared all over his body, making him look like a little sun. Host awakens divine ability, Immortal Golden Body. Immortal Golden Body, unparalleled defense and incredible recovery ability. As long as the primordial spirit is immortal, it can recover from any serious injury. God is really helping me. The sudden surprise made Yi Chen smile from ear to ear with joy. The dragon elephant heaven-suppressing technique and the immortal golden body were a match made in heaven. His strength could definitely be improved by several levels. After being happy for a while, he entered the state of cultivation again. After refining all the Gu Yuan Dan, his realm broke through to the third layer of the golden body realm. Calculating the time, it has only been more than 3 months since I entered Handan, and my strength has undergone a radical change. It can be said that I have made rapid progress. It's time to leave. Yi Chen stretched his waist. Now that he has a certain strength, it is naturally impossible to continue to stay here. After all, it is faster to increase his strength by killing. Thump. At this moment, a sound of falling water sounded, which instantly aroused Yi Chen's curiosity and he couldn't help but look up. TSK, I like it. Yi Chen's eyes widened when he saw it. He didn't expect to encounter such a good thing as a beautiful woman taking a bath. Could it be that God saw that I was working too hard and gave me a special reward? Chapter 26 The Sixth Princess of the Tang Dynasty. Ah! The woman from Handan discovered Yi Chen's traces. She immediately let out a scream, left the water immediately, and got dressed in the blink of an eye. Under the dual pupils, it was useless no matter how fast the woman was, her whole body was looked at by Yi Chen, and then she rushed out of the cold pool. He looked at the other party with unscrupulous eyes and said without hesitation. Tisk, she's quite beautiful. The woman has long black hair and slightly curly hair, bright and delicate facial features, and there is almost nothing wrong with her. It was the inadvertent display of arrogance that made him feel very uncomfortable, so he wanted to tease her. A trace of murderous intent flashed in the woman's face. You bold thief, I will kill you. He raised his jade hand and shot out a ray of white light towards Yi Chen, hoping to kill this daring guy. Interesting, I didn't expect to be a princess. Yi Chen turned slightly to avoid the woman's attack. The white light sank into the cold pool, a large amount of cold air rose up in an instant, and the water surface quickly froze. Who the hell are you? The woman was stunned for a moment when she saw this. It was unbelievable that Yi Chen could easily dodge his attack even though he only had the cultivation level of the golden body. Those with such abilities must be disciples of some powerful sects, and they are definitely not as simple as they appear. Thinking of this, he immediately took out the summons token and sent out a message, summoning some strong men to come over to avoid letting Yi Chen escape later. I am just an independent cultivator. I have no background, so don't worry. Yi Chen shrugged. He really didn't know that these people would always ask about his origins. It was really meaningless. Judging from the power that the woman unleashed, she should have the cultivation level of Shattering Void Realm, so she asked tentatively. You have reached the Shattering Void Realm at a young age. It seems that your talent is not comparable to that of ordinary people. I am very curious about your identity. Mainly, I don't know where I am at the moment, and I want to find out the situation from the woman's mouth. The woman had no intention of hiding anything and proudly told her origins, hoping to use her identity to scare Yi Chen. To tell you the truth, I am Li Linger, the 6th princess of the Tang dynasty. I will definitely beat you to pieces later. If you kowtow to me and beg for mercy now, maybe I can leave your whole body later. Otherwise, by the time my guards arrive, it will be too late to beg for mercy. Yi Chen laughed. It turned out that he was transported to the Tang dynasty and met a princess. It was indeed interesting. Why are you laughing? Kneel down and beg for mercy. Didn't you hear what this princess just said? Li Linger gave a sweet shout. She felt that Yi Chen seemed to be laughing at her and became angry. After all, she was a princess of the Tang dynasty, so naturally she couldn't bear the other party's indifference. Threaten me? Your identity is nothing in my eyes. If you are ugly, don't make trouble. A sneer appeared at the corner of Yi Chen's mouth. Li Ling, who has a natural sense of superiority, felt that others would surround her. It's a pity that he won't tolerate it and fights back mercilessly, not caring whether the other party is a princess or something. You. Li Linger was so angry that she couldn't say anything. Someone once said she was ugly and looked at Yi Chen with murderous intent. Ah, I'm going to kill you. A white divine sword skillfully appeared in the hand, exuding bursts of cold air. If you feel it carefully, you can also find that the holy power is flowing in it. With a wave of Li Linger's divine sword, countless strands of ice sword energy flew toward Yi Chen, and the surrounding temperature dropped significantly. Yi Chen calmed down and activated his divine ability Immortal Golden Body. A bright golden light appeared outside his body, and the ice sword energy hit it without any impact at all. Looking at the angry Li Linger, she felt very comfortable and continued to strike. I'm so angry. It seems that I hit your sore spot. Ugliness is ugly, you can't help but let people tell you. Any man who marries you in the future will definitely be unlucky for 8 lifetimes. The naked words stimulated Li Linger again. The spiritual power in his body was so angry that he spat out a mouthful of blood and almost went crazy. Yi Chen looked at Li Linger and pretended to be surprised. Hey, did you vomit blood? Immediately afterwards, he brought his poisonous tongue skills to the extreme, constantly irritating the other party. After all, you are a princess, and your psychological defense is too fragile. Ha ha ha. After Li Linger heard these words, endless anger surged into her heart, and she was bound to pay the price for this man who insulted her. Thinking of the spiritual power of his whole body gathered on the divine sword, slowly freezing the surrounding space, he said with murderous intent. You thief, try the power of my divine ability, Ice Soul without form. The whole person flew out in an instant, leaving behind a series of afterimages, and slashed towards Yi Chen's head, showing no mercy at all. Girl, you are not my match yet. Yi Chen stretched out his fingers and easily caught the flying divine sword, then punched Li Linger in the lower abdomen, causing blood to spurt out. Li Linger's expression changed drastically. She didn't expect that Yi Chen's physical strength was so terrifying, and he could be seriously injured with just one punch. If she hits him a few more times, I'm afraid she will die in the opponent's hands. Thinking of letting go of the divine sword in her hand, she quickly retreats. Yi Chen caught up with Li Linger in the blink of an eye, grabbed her shoulders with both hands, and exerted a million strength to suppress her in place, unable to move. Girl, you're already here, why don't you stay with me, Li Linger panicked when she heard this, fearing that Yi Chen would do something extreme, so she hurriedly threatened. "Ah, thief, let me go quickly, or I will let my father destroy your 9 tribes, even if you escape to the ends of the earth, it will be useless. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have been so impulsive. If I lost my innocence, how would I meet people in the future? I am the princess of the Tang dynasty. How dare you do this to me? She has been of noble status since she was a child. When has she ever suffered such humiliation?" Tears flowed down unconsciously. She looked pitiful. Yi Chen saw that there was no disturbance. He would not show mercy or anything like that. He pinched Li Linger's chin and showed a meaningful smile. "What you call background is no deterrent to me. Don't take yourself too seriously. What about the princess? I will teach you a lesson today and let you know what it means to be evil." Chapter 27 Tongzi, you are a bad student. Let me go. Li Linger struggled hard, and a huge ice phoenix appeared behind him. He violently broke away from Yi Chen's suppression and tried to escape into the distance. But how could Yi Chen let her go so easily? In an instant, he reached the top of the huge ice phoenix and smashed it down with nearly 20 million kilograms of divine power in his fists. Immediately, the ice phoenix let out a cry and quickly dissipated between heaven and earth, as if it had never appeared before. Li Linger still wanted to struggle and escape, but Yi Chen didn't give him a chance. His hands were as heavy as mountains, suppressing the former. "Help!" Li Linger was really scared. At this moment, a figure with a divine sword on his back appeared in his mind, with a handsome face, firm eyes, and endless sword intent surrounding him. Thinking of this, his eyes lit up, as if he had grasped a life-saving straw, and he quickly said to Yi Chen, "My princess fiancée is Yi Yun, the holy son of the heavenly sword Holy Land. If you dare to touch me at all, he will never spare you." One of the overlords of the eastern region of the heavenly sword Holy Land, there are countless experts in the Holy Land, and their background is very profound. With the formations arranged by the great emperor and several quasi-emperors standing guard, I believe no one is willing to offend the heavenly sword Holy Land unless they are really tired of living. When Yi Chen heard this, he stopped moving his hands, a playful smile appeared on his face, and murmured to himself, "Haha, Yi Yun's fiancé is really a bit beyond my expectations." He was very familiar with this name. It was his second brother who was the one who dug out his own supreme sword bone. Now he has become the holy son of the heavenly sword Holy Land. Things are really unpredictable. Thinking of this, Yi Chen's eyes became very cold, and cold murderous intent burst out from his body, covering Li Linger's whole body. This was the first time that Li Linger saw such terrifying murderous intent. She was so frightened that she didn't even dare to take a breath. She was really afraid that Yi Chen would kill her. Yi Chen's expression was very gloomy, he could hardly control his murderous intention, and he could not forget the pain of gouging out his bones. However, Yi Yun became the holy son of the heavenly sword Holy Land, and it was very difficult for him to seek revenge. The power base that can become a holy land is very strong. Even if you have a quasi-emperor cultivation experience card, you probably won't be able to do anything to the other party. There are even rumors that some holy places have the great emperor standing guard. Yi Chen will naturally not go there stupidly and force his way in. It would be bad if his life is at stake inside. As Yi Yun's fiancé, Li Linger can certainly be regarded as his enemy, and she really wants to kill the former to make her angry. The system detects the murderous intention in the host's heart, and gets the task of revenge on Yi Yun, knocking down Li Linger, and the reward level is upgraded, Dragon and Tiger Pill x 100. Tongzi, you've learned too much. After hearing the contents of the system, Yi Chen was stunned for several seconds. The system was really good at playing it. He could even come up with such a method. It was really incredible. Doesn't the host dare? Yi Chen sneered when he heard this, how dare the system look down on him? I'm just kidding. I'm afraid of nothing. A man can't say he's not good enough. Whether it is to complete the task or to take revenge on Yi Yun, this matter must be completed. He is not a stickler for rules. After all, good people don't live long and harm will last for thousands of years, so why not be a villain? Ha ha ha. Thinking of this, Yi Chen couldn't help but laugh. He looked at Li Linger with eyes full of sympathy. He could only say that she had a bad fate and met him. Li Linger's hair stood up all over her body, and Yi Chen's eyes were so terrifying, as if he wanted to eat her, which made people shudder. Her delicate body couldn't help but tremble. If she wanted to save her life, she could only wait for the strong men following her to arrive, otherwise the end would definitely be very miserable. This was a woman's sixth sense. "Do you have any grudge against my fiancé?" Seeing that the guy Yi Yun just mentioned reacted so fiercely, guessing that there must be some grudge between the two parties, Li Linger wanted to use this topic to delay for more time. "Perhaps you will know if you have the opportunity in the future. It is still important to do business now, haha." Yi Chen was too lazy to explain so much to this woman. He wanted to complete the task released by the system as soon as possible. He had been in the same place in the past life and this life, so of course he couldn't miss this great opportunity. Isn't it normal to be impatient? Be brave and let our princess go. Unexpectedly, at the critical moment, two old women flew out of the sky. One used divine ability to kill Yi Chen, and the other wanted to take the opportunity to rescue Li Linger. "Humph, you dare to disturb my good deeds." Yi Chen was so angry that two old women came to cause trouble with all the bullets loaded. He would be really sorry for himself if he didn't kill them. His physical strength reached its limit, and he fought with an old woman, shattering a space of 100 meters in radius. He was knocked back dozens of meters by the powerful force, and a trace of blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. Seeing that another old woman was about to rescue Li Linger, Yi Chen took her away in a flash, otherwise he would not be able to complete the task later. "You brat, hand over the princess quickly. Maybe I can leave you a way to survive." The two old women were very shocked. They were both transcending tribulation realm cultivators. Together, they couldn't do anything to a guy in the golden body realm. No one would believe it. Let's see if you have this ability." Yi Chen snorted coldly, knowing that he was no match for the two of them. If he wanted to kill them, he would have to use a strong trump card. After pondering for a while, he took out the Supreme Divine Weapon 9 Dragon Demonic Sword, just to see how powerful the so-called Supreme Divine Weapon can be. As soon as the 9 Dragons Demonic Sword appeared, it revealed a large amount of demonic energy, and darkness instantly enveloped the entire valley. There seemed to be the sound of dragon roars coming from the darkness, which made people almost breathless. Hey, that's awesome." Yi Chen was very satisfied. He didn't even use his spiritual power to activate the 9 Dragons Demonic Sword, but he was able to unleash such terrifying power. He was truly worthy of the Supreme Divine Weapon. Chapter 28 Taboo Divine Ability. What a terrifying Demon Dao weapon. The two old women showed shocked expressions, with a strong life and death crisis in their hearts, and they went all out to prepare for it. "Moms, please save me." Li Linger was very desperate. He originally thought that if the strong man who followed him came, he could easily capture Yi Chen, but now it seems that he thought it was too easy. They can't protect themselves, so they have no time to care about you. You should just stay there honestly. Yi Chen laughed disdainfully, his mind locked firmly on one of the old women, and he swung the 9 Dragons Demonic Sword and slashed away. The black magic light instantly penetrated the space and came to the opponent. "Damn it, Xianling Shield." The old woman almost couldn't react, and hurriedly formed a grey shield in front of her, hoping to block the incoming magic light. Unfortunately, it was of no use. The recovery shield split into two instantly. The old woman behind was not spared either, and her body fell into two halves and fell to the ground. Call. It's a complete mess. It's just that it consumes too much. Yi Chen was very satisfied with the power of the 9 Dragons Demonic Sword, but it consumed too much. A random slash of sword energy consumed half of his spiritual energy. It was probably still too early to fully control it. The remaining old woman's body trembled. She did not expect this to be the result. Her companions who were almost the same as herself were killed instantly. She was afraid that if she rushed forward, she would also die. Thinking of this, she stepped back a distance and threatened sternly. "Your Excellency, what you are holding is the 6th princess of our Tang dynasty, who is deeply loved by His Majesty. Her Royal Highness the Princess is also engaged to the Holy Son of the Heavenly Sword Holy Land, and the marriage will be consummated in 3 months. If something happens now, you will face endless pursuit by the two major forces. Yi Chen showed a cold killing intention, consumed the remaining spiritual power and struck out with another sword, and the terrifying magic light cut off the opponent's head. Let's not mention that Yi Yun might have died a little slower, but the two of us haven't sworn hatred. The heavenly demon Kung Fu was activated, absorbing the power spilled from the two of them, and the cultivation level reached the 5th layer of the Golden Body realm. He put away the 9 dragons' demonic sword, slowly walked towards Li Linger, and took her into the cold pool. Yi Yun, what you owe me will have to be paid back sooner or later. Let's start with your fiancé today. Sleepless night. The host completed the task of revenge on Yi Yun and forced Yi Linger, and the reward was a level upgrade, Dragon and Tiger Pills x 100. Dragon and Tiger Pill, improve cultivation, strengthen chi and blood, strengthen body. Wanfa Realm 2nd layer. After Yi Linger came out of the cold pool, her face was covered with frost and her eyes were filled with endless resentment as she stared at Yi Chen in front of her. I hate this guy who took away my innocence, and I don't know how to face my fiancé Yi Yun in the future. It's really shameful to see people after something like this happened. Little girl, even if I am handsome, you don't have to look at me like this. Yi Chen didn't care at all. He originally wanted to kill Li Linger directly, but then he thought about it. She was a princess after all, and it was not good to be a maid for him. After thinking for a moment, he used the secret method recorded in the heavenly demon killing technique to place a restriction in her soul, and said with a cold expression. Your Highness Princess, you will be my prisoner from today on. Be honest, otherwise the consequences will be serious. As soon as her mind moved, those restraints came into play, and the woman kept rolling on the ground in pain, letting her know the consequences of disobeying her will. If Yi Yun sees his woman becoming his prisoner, I believe it will definitely be very interesting. Thinking of this, Yi Chen laughed maniacally, and cold murderous intent rose into the sky. Everything is just the beginning. The pain and torture I have suffered must be repaid 100 times by them. Detect the murderous intention in the host's heart, get a new mission, and regain your own supreme sword bone. The reward realm is upgraded to 3 levels in a row, a Great Emperor Cultivation Experience card, and the Taboo Divine Ability Heaven-Destroying Sword Technique. Here I go, the Great Emperor Cultivation Experience card is really cool. Forbidden Divine Ability? The God-level skills and secrets are awesome enough, but now there is a forbidden divine ability. I wonder what it will be like. Yi Chen is extremely looking forward to it. However, he was too anxious to eat hot tofu. If he wanted to get his supreme sword bone back, he could only wait until 3 months later, when Yi Yun married Li Linger. At that time, it shouldn't be too difficult to get into it by yourself, take advantage of it when it is not prepared, and take back your supreme sword bone. Chapter 29 Refining Phoenix Essence and Blood. Li Linger lay on the ground for a long time before getting up, her delicate body trembling constantly, and her eyes looking at Yi Chen were full of fear. Devil, you are a devil. In her eyes, Yi Chen was a living demon, like a messenger coming out of hell, making people shudder. Yi Chen glanced at her and said calmly, if you are not afraid of death, you can fight to the death, and I will not mind helping you. Li Linger fell silent after hearing this. If possible, she naturally didn't want to die like this and could only accept her fate honestly. Yi Chen showed a smile. Despite Li Linger's noble status and arrogant personality, he was actually very greedy for life and afraid of death, otherwise he would definitely fight for his life. After a while, Li Linger plucked up the courage and said, what do you want to do? You can't hold on to me all the time. If this princess doesn't go back for a long time, she will definitely force herself to come and look for me. My father is a powerful saint emperor, and there are powerful quasi-emperors in the royal family. You must consider the stakes clearly. If you are willing to let it go, how about this princess promising to give you a large amount of heavenly materials and earthly treasures? The purpose of saying this is to hope that Yi Chen can let him go, or take him back to the Tang dynasty. In this way, we can find a strong person above the saint level, and perhaps be able to lift the restrictions in the soul, so as to get rid of Yi Chen's control. Yi Chen could see Li Linger's little thoughts at a glance. He held up Li Linger's chin with his palm and said lightly, "Girl, you are not qualified to negotiate terms with me. Do you really think I don't know your little thoughts? The Tang dynasty and the Heavenly Sword Holy Land cannot scare me. If they offend me, haha." Yi Chen did not continue, letting Li Linger experience it for herself, and then activated the restriction to teach her a profound lesson. Li Linger covered her head and screamed, as if there were countless roots in her mind. Yi Chen had no sympathy for this. "You have become your own prisoner, and you still want to threaten yourself? Do you really think he has no temper? If it hadn't been for seeing that this woman was of some use, she would have been destroyed long ago. I was wrong. I don't dare to do it anymore, please let me go." Li Linger's face turned pale, and her inner defense completely collapsed. She cried and begged for mercy, not daring to have any more thoughts. "Little girl, those who know the current affairs are heroes. If you dare to threaten me again, you will bear the consequences." Yi Chen's expression was very cold, and he believed that several consecutive lessons would make Li Linger honest for a while. Originally, he wanted to take her directly to the Tang dynasty, but unexpectedly, something happened to the cold pool behind him. The water in the pool began to boil and turn deep red in color, like a terrifying pool of blood. What happened? Li Linger looked at Han Dan's changes with a puzzled expression. She had been here more than once and had never seen anything like this happen. "Tongzi, what's going on?" Yi Chen also didn't know what happened and could only ask the system in his mind. "There is phoenix essence and blood hidden under the cold pool, which burst out because the strength of the cold pool weakened. The host gets a new task, refining the phoenix essence and blood under the cold pool, and rewards the god-level secret treasure Yin and Yang Blood C. The realm will be upgraded to 3 levels in a row, and the true demon blood pill X100. When luck comes, no one can stop it." Yi Chen laughed. "Phoenix has the ability of Nirvana's rebirth, and it will definitely benefit a lot from refining its essence and blood. Whether it's quenching physical impurities or improving cultivation, it has significant effects. What's more important is the mission rewards, which can make a lot of money." Looking at the excited Yi Chen, Li Linger was a little confused and asked cautiously, "What is it in the cold pool that makes you so happy? Don't ask if you shouldn't. Just wait for me on the shore and don't think about escaping, otherwise the consequences will be serious." Yi Chen was too lazy to answer Zhao Qianling's question. Without saying a word, he plunged into the cold pool and began to refine the power of phoenix essence and blood. The violent energy continuously tempers the physical body, removes impurities from the body, and taps one's own potential. At the same time, he is still improving his cultivation. Chapter 30 Yin Yang Blood C. Breakthrough to 7th layer in half a month. Breakthrough to the 9th layer of 10,000 Dharma realm in 1 month. 49 days later, the cultivation level directly reached the heavenly origin realm 1st layer, and the physical body was covered with a faint divine glow. The host completes the task of refining the phoenix essence and blood, and is rewarded with the Yin and Yang Blood C. The realm has been upgraded to 3 levels in a row, and the true demon blood pill. Yin Yang Blood C, refined by merging the blood of endless God Fiend, containing endless blood, and can absorb the blood of other living beings. True demon blood pill, the user's blood becomes violent, and his strength skyrockets within an hour. There is no limit to the realm, and there are no side effects. Heavenly Origin Realm 2nd layer. Heavenly Origin Realm 3rd layer. Heavenly Origin Realm 4th layer. Yi Chen couldn't wait to find the god-level secret treasure Yin Yang Blood C, and his spiritual mind penetrated into it and discovered the overwhelming blood energy. After recognizing his master, he suddenly flew into his own body, exuding rich blood at all times, triggering the automatic operation of the Dragon Elephant Heaven suppressing technique, making his body stronger all the time. It's really outrageous. Yi Chen looked up to the sky and laughed. With the Yin and Yang Blood C, his Dragon Elephant Heaven suppressing technique would definitely improve by leaps and bounds, and becoming a saint would be a piece of cake. Becoming an emperor in the flesh is just around the corner, and it will be easy to conquer the entire human sovereign world by then. Li Ling'er was extremely shocked, and she witnessed Yi Chen's changes during this period. He climbed from the Golden Realm to the Heavenly Origin Realm in a short period of time. It was really abnormal. There seems to be someone over there, go and have a look. The sixth princess is missing, and no one who is suspected will be let go. We must find it as soon as possible, otherwise His Majesty will blame us and none of us will be able to bear it. At this moment, several voices came from not far away. Yi Chen smiled slightly after noticing it. He guessed that he was here to look for Li Ling'er, so he said lightly, "Little girl, do you need me to teach you what to do?" Li Ling'er subconsciously took a few steps back, fearing that it would be unbearable to experience the previous experience again. However, her life was still in Yi Chen's hands, so she could only whisper, "Do you have any instructions?" Yi Chen showed a sneer, surrounded by a terrifying murderous intention, and said calmly, "It's nothing, it's just that you people from the Tang Dynasty royal family are here to find me, so I will go back with you. I can't miss your wedding day. Yi Yun, long time no see." The killing intent around her made Li Ling'er tremble with fear, and she asked tremblingly, "What is the deep hatred between you and Yi Yun?" Looking at Yi Chen's performance, one can tell that the hatred between the two parties is extraordinary, otherwise it would never be like this. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask, you will know when the time comes. I'm going to find you powerful men from the dynasty. You can take me back with you by the way, so that you can wait for Yi Yun to pick you up. I want to make Yi Yun pay a heavy price in front of everyone. If you perform well during this period, I will naturally lift the restrictions in your soul. Don't use useless tricks. Even the Quasi-Emperor can't lift the restriction in your soul. If I die, you will die too. If you don't believe it, you can try it. With Li Ling'er as a hostage, Yi Chen was not afraid of what the strong men of the Tang Dynasty royal family would do to him, unless he really didn't care about the former's life or death. Yes. Li Ling'er naturally didn't dare to say anything and agreed immediately. People under the eaves have to bow their heads. As for what Yi Chen said about the Quasi-Emperor being unable to break the restrictions in his soul, she somewhat didn't believe it. To be on the safe side, let's wait until we get back to the palace. It didn't take long for more than a dozen people to arrive at the edge of the cold pool, led by an old man who was cultivating the transcending tribulation realm. The moment I saw Li Ling'er, I burst into tears and said excitedly, "Your Highness, I finally found you. You have been missing for so many days and there is no news, but your Majesty is so anxious that he sends a large number of strong men to look for you everywhere. Your Highness, what happened during this period? Are you in any danger?" At the same time, a message was sent to nearby people to avoid any further accidents happening to Li Ling'er. Li Ling'er pondered, thinking quickly about how to answer. During this period, she subconsciously glanced at Yi Chen. The leader of the old man noticed something was wrong, his eyes immediately turned cold, and the powerful aura of the transcending tribulation realm enveloped Yi Chen. "Boy, did you kidnap our princess? Recruit me truthfully, or else your 9 tribes will be destroyed." He didn't even pay attention to the guy from the heavenly origin realm. If he didn't know what he was doing, he would just kill him. Chapter 31 Half-Saint Strong Man. Yi Chen's eyes narrowed when he heard this, and the murderous intention that had disappeared reappeared, and he said coldly, "Old guy, just because you still want to destroy our 9 tribes, you think too highly of yourself." The 9 dragons' demonic sword appeared in his hand and cut off the opponent's arm with lightning speed, causing blood to spurt out immediately. "If you dare to speak rudely again, I will kill you next time." Everyone trembled. They didn't expect Yi Chen's strength to be so terrifying. With just the heavenly origin realm 4th layer, he could cross 2 realms and seriously injure the old man. It was really unbelievable. "Ah, come together and kill this kid for me." After losing an arm, the old man wailed in pain, almost losing his mind, and ordered a dozen of his companions to surround and kill Yi Chen. Seeing that the situation was about to get out of control, Li Ling'er quickly stopped everyone who wanted to take action and scolded. "Everyone, step aside. This young master is my savior. You must not be rude, otherwise I will not let you go easily." She knew how terrifying Yi Chen's strength was, and the person in front of her was just trying to commit suicide. If she angered him again, she would probably be tortured again. I obey my orders. After hearing this, more than a dozen people quickly retreated, relieved in their hearts. Anyone with a discerning eye could see how powerful Yi Chen was, and naturally they didn't want to die. But the old man who had lost his arm was obviously unwilling and wanted to say something. Li Linger showed terrible anger, interrupted the old man's words directly, and said coldly, "It's nothing, do you want to disobey this princess's order?" What she experienced during this period of time made her very unhappy. This guy still insisted on hitting the gun. He really didn't want to live or die. The old man trembled when he heard this. He didn't know why Li Linger was so angry. He quickly knelt down and begged for mercy. "I know that I am guilty, and please forgive me, princess." Snort. Yi Chen smiled disdainfully and put away the 9 dragons' demon sword. It is impossible to be low-key. If the people in front of you don't know whether to live or die, then let them be fulfilled. With the supreme weapon in hand, it can almost be said that the saint is invincible. These people in front of him are simply vulnerable. Suddenly, a middle-aged man wearing red armor flew over, with a strong evil spirit condensed around his body. At first glance, he looked like a man who had experienced countless killings. Seeing Li Linger, who was safe and sound, he immediately breathed a sigh of relief. "Your Highness, it's fine that you're fine. This subordinate is really worried to death. Li Linger is the most favored princess. She possesses the Ice Phoenix divine body and has extraordinary talents. She is deeply loved by His Majesty. What's more, he was engaged to the Holy Son of the Heavenly Sword Holy Land." Seeing that the wedding day was approaching, he suddenly disappeared, which made everyone panic to death. If something unexpected happens, the consequences will be absolutely disastrous. "Commander Wang Li, it's okay if you come, I don't have anything big to do." Li Linger responded softly. The person in front of her was a semi-saint strong man. Even if she was a princess, she still had to give him a bit of respect. Wang Li nodded, looked at the old man with a broken arm. His expression suddenly became gloomy, and he suppressed his anger and asked, "Who is so bold as to hurt my commander's men?" He glanced around with his mind and found no clues about other strong men. There was only Yi Chen from the heavenly origin realm, so he simply ignored it. "This." The old man with a broken arm hesitated, lowering his head and not daring to say anything, for fear of offending Li Linger, which would not be good for him. "If you have anything to say, just say it. I will make the decision for you. There is nothing to be afraid of." Wang Li shouted angrily. Yi Chen shook his head and said with a smile, No need to ask, I am the one who did it. I will accept whatever you want." There was nothing to be afraid of. Even the semi-saint strong man, he didn't take it to heart at all. "If you hurt my subordinates, you have to pay with your life." Wang Li's eyes became sharp after hearing this, and he walked straight towards Yi Chen, wanting to see if a guy from the heavenly origin realm could cut off the arm of a strong man from the transcending tribulation realm. The aura of the powerful semi-saint burst out, and the entire cave mansion became depressed, as if the battle was about to break out. "Commander Wang Li, please be patient." Li Linger was speechless and quickly stood in front of Yi Chen. I secretly sighed in my heart that Yi Chen was so arrogant that he didn't even pay attention to the powerful semi-saint. Is he really so powerful? He is truly an incredible man. She didn't want a conflict to break out between them. Why would Her Majesty the Princess protect an outsider? Wang Li was very puzzled. Li Linger felt very helpless and didn't know how to explain it. After thinking for a moment, I made up a reason. It was said that when she was traveling, she was surrounded and killed by unknown strong men. In order to protect herself, 2 nuns dragged the enemy to death. She was lucky enough to escape, but was seriously injured. When his life was hanging by a thread, he was saved by Yi Chen in front of him, and he has been recovering from his injuries ever since. "Commander Wang Li, for the sake of my princess, please stop arguing with this young master." Wang Li's expression softened upon hearing this. He calmed down his momentum, clasped his fists in front of Yi Chen and saluted, "Thank you so much, sir, for saving the princess's life. I am deeply grateful." Compared with Li Linger's safety, one of his subordinates' arms is nothing, so naturally he won't care about it anymore. Chapter 32 The King is Angry. Yi Chen had originally planned to take action, but who would have thought that Wang Li would suddenly give in and make him unable to get up or down? It doesn't matter. After thinking about it for a while, he let this guy go for the time being. After all, he had to go back with Li Linger later. It would be a bit bad to do too much. This princess is tired, please take me back. Wang Li did not dare to delay, and immediately arranged for people outside Cave Mansion to prepare a car, and respectfully invited Li Linger to get on, which showed how high the latter's status was. Let's go back with me. Li Linger was afraid that Yi Chen would cause something else, so he invited her to get into his car. Wang Li's eyes flashed and he said solemnly, "Your Highness, you must not do this. You have a noble status. If you are with other men, you will definitely attract gossip from others. Li Linger is about to get married to the holy son of the heavenly sword Holy Land. It is naturally inappropriate for an orphaned man and a widowed woman to stay together with other men. If anyone knows about this, they will definitely make a big fuss, which may lead to even greater misunderstandings. This young master is my savior. Nothing will happen. Commander Wang Li doesn't need to say anything. He can just take us back." Li Linger waved her hand, her expression very calm, making it difficult to tell what she was thinking. Wang Li hesitated to speak, but seeing Li Linger's firm attitude, he stepped aside and allowed Yi Chen to get into the princess car. That's pretty much it. Yi Chen was naturally not polite and walked up calmly. I really don't know how these people will feel one day when they find out that they slept with their princess. Thinking of this, a smirk appeared on the corner of his mouth. After entering the car, Yi Chen's eyes lit up, and he finally understood what luxury was. It can be said that everything inside is complete, just like a small palace, decorated with various glittering law weapons or treasures. A small spirit-gathering array is carved in the middle, which absorbs the surrounding spiritual energy of heaven and earth at all times. There are powerful defensive formations carved all around, which can resist even a strong saint for a while. There are 18 shattering void realm experts outside carrying the vehicle to ensure that there will be no bumps during the flight. The scene is not ordinary. As time went by, more and more people gathered, tens of thousands of people gathered in half a day, and those with the lowest cultivation levels were all in the sky control realm. All of them were strong men who came to look for Li Linger. After receiving the news that she was safe and sound, they rushed over without stopping and escorted her back to the palace safely. Yi Chen vaguely felt a powerful aura, which was hidden in the void and did not appear. If nothing unexpected happened, it should be a strong saint, secretly protecting Li Linger's safety, which shows how much the Tang dynasty valued this princess. TSK, you are worthy of being a princess of a dynasty. This kind of treatment is really beyond the comparison of ordinary people. Yi Chen couldn't help but praise it after reading it. Pity. Even if he is such a person, he still becomes his own slave. Li Linger remained silent. She just wanted to return to her own territory as soon as possible to see if there was a way to lift the restriction in her soul so as to get rid of the demon in front of her. Boring. Seeing that Li Linger didn't speak, Yi Chen simply went to practice and strive to break through to the broken void realm as soon as possible. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. The group of people came to the imperial city. Yi Chen felt the noisy atmosphere outside and immediately woke up, ready to go out and take a walk. He quietly got out of the car and sent a message to Li Linger before leaving. "Little girl, please tell your people not to follow me. Otherwise, no matter how far apart we are, I will let you die without a burial place. And the imperial city is your territory. You must protect me well, otherwise don't blame me if something happens, ha ha ha." By the time Li Linger reacted, Yi Chen had already disappeared into the sea of people. She couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. Is this guy so confident? I originally thought that Yi Chen would go back to the palace with him, and with himself as a hostage, no one could do anything to him. But leaving like this now was indeed beyond her expectation. Are you really not afraid that someone can lift the restrictions in your soul? Princess, what is the origin of that person? Do you need me to kill him? At this moment, an old voice came into her ears. It was the powerful saint who had been hiding in the dark. He had long discovered something was wrong between the two of them, but considering Li Linger's safety, he never dared to take action rashly. "Old Jean, please do not act rashly. My life is in his hands. We will discuss this matter again when we find my father." Li Linger hurriedly stopped him, fearing that he would anger Yi Chen and that his previous forbearance would be destroyed. In the void, Mr. Jean exclaimed. He did not expect that the matter would be so serious. He decisively manifested his body and quickly returned to the palace with Li Linger. In the blink of an eye, the two of them arrived at a prosperous palace. The ground was covered with spiritual stones and the walls were covered with colorful star crystals. Even the 9 pillars supporting the palace are made of celestial immortal gold and engraved with lifelike dragon patterns. Sitting on the dragon chair above is Li Qingfeng, the emperor of the Tang dynasty. His expression is calm and powerful, and he has the potential to swallow mountains and rivers with anger. But the moment he saw Li Linger, his previous image was gone, but he said with a doting look on his face, "My dear daughter, it's good that you come back safely. My father has been worried to death during this period. If it weren't for trivial matters, he would have set out to look for you himself." Li Linger has 5 elder brothers who have been training outside all year round and joined different forces. With this daughter by my side, I naturally love her very much. You. Li Linger could no longer control her emotions and cried loudly in Qingfeng Li's arms, venting her grievances. "Father, someone took my Yuan Yin away from me, and the other party planted a vicious restriction in my mind that could kill me at any time." Li Qingfeng's expression changed drastically when he heard this, and the murderous intention in his body surged up. The solid palace became crumbling, as if it might collapse at any time. What? Who on earth dares to do this? I must destroy all 9 of his tribes. I have never thought that someone would be so bold and dare to treat their daughter like this. Are you using yourself as a decoration? Or do you still have the confidence to ignore the Tang dynasty? No matter which one, he couldn't accept it. Thinking about the murderous intention in Qingfeng Li's body was even more terrifying. The entire palace collapsed as a result, the aura of the Holy Emperor level shot straight into the sky, and the entire imperial city could feel the silent anger. Everyone in the palace knelt on the ground and shivered, not understanding what had happened to make their majesty so angry. At the same time, the entire imperial city fell into riots. That aura seems to be emanating from His Majesty. Oh my God, who is not afraid of death and dares to provoke that person? When the king is angry, millions of people will be killed. Countless people were talking, wondering what happened to make the master of the Tang dynasty so angry. He. Yi Chen, who was among the crowd, chuckled lightly, not taking this matter seriously at all, and just walked around minding his own business. Chapter 33 Royal Ancestor. Li Linger looked at her furious father and felt a warmth in her heart. However, there were more important things to do right now, so she reminded her in a low voice. "Father, please calm down first and see if you can lift the restriction in your daughter's soul, otherwise I will still be controlled by others." Such a big movement can be felt throughout the imperial city. If there is no accident, Yi Chen will definitely notice it. If the restriction is activated to torture himself. Qingfeng Li reacted after hearing this, calmed down his inner anger a little, and quickly checked on his daughter's situation. With the divine consciousness of the Holy Emperor level, Li Linger's soul could be seen clearly. I found a ball of red power in the middle, extending with countless dense threads, entwined with its soul. What a complicated restriction. Qingfeng Li frowned. He wasn't sure he could lift it, but he still had to try. His spiritual consciousness carefully entered Li Linger's soul, and slowly pulled away the extending threads, not daring to be careless in the whole process. Together. 2 lanes. Thousands of channels. It took 3 whole days, and Qingfeng Li spent a lot of spiritual power to finally pull away all the threads. After destroying the red light group, the restriction could be completely lifted. You need to recover well now to avoid any accidents during the period. Father, are you sure? Li Linger was very nervous, her heart was in her throat. Qingfeng Li touched her head and comforted her. Don't worry, dear daughter, there must be nothing wrong. Once I adjust my condition, I will help you lift the restriction. Although he looked relaxed on the surface, he was already sweating profusely. This was the first time he had seen the complexity of Li Linger's soul restriction. Just the extended thread is so troublesome. Who knows what else is in that ball of red light? If something goes wrong, the consequences will be absolutely disastrous. Father, I believe in you. Li Linger breathed a sigh of relief when he heard this. It seemed that what Yi Chen said before was a bit exaggerated. A strong Saint Emperor could lift the restriction, but it would take a lot of effort. But before she was happy for a long time, the red light ball in her soul trembled, constantly devouring the power of her soul and extending more threads. Ah! The severe pain made Li Linger scream and roll on the ground in pain. Father! No, the other party has activated a restraint. My daughter can't bear it anymore. As soon as he finished speaking, he fainted. Li Qingfeng's expression changed drastically. He hurriedly put his consciousness into Li Linger's mind and found a scene that made him angry. The red light group directly swallowed up 1/10 of the latter's soul, and the number of threads extended was several times that before. Now it seems that it is impossible to lift the ban. If we act rashly, Li Linger will definitely be harmed. Damn guy, if you fall into the hands of this emperor, you will definitely be worse than death and endure the cruelest torture in the world. The veins on Qingfeng Li's forehead popped out, and he lost the majesty of the emperor in the past. Thinking of his daughter's miserable appearance, endless anger once again enveloped the entire imperial city. Even crazier than before, those who didn't know thought he was possessed. Qingfeng, what's wrong? Just then, an old man in a golden robe appeared out of thin air, waving his hand and sending out a wave of power to calm Li Qingfeng's turbulent power and prevent it from affecting other people in the palace. Li Qingfeng looked happy when he saw the visitor, and he didn't know how excited he was inside. Ancestor, you came just in time. Take a look at the restriction in Linger's soul. It's so vicious that even I can't do anything about it. The old man in golden robe is none other than Li Shiming, the founder of the Tang dynasty. His cultivation is unfathomable and he is considered to be the top expert among the quasi-emperors. If even the other party cannot lift the restriction, let alone others. Li Shiming's eyes flashed, as if the sun, moon and stars were rotating, and he was a little confused. The royal family of the Tang dynasty is now prosperous. Even if those holy places have to give a little less favor, someone actually dares to assassinate a member of the royal family? Thinking of this terrifying consciousness coming out of his body and scanning Li Linger's soul, the threads wrapped around it continued to shrink. In the blink of an eye, they all returned to the red light group, and a light curtain rose from the surface to resist Li Shiming's powerful spiritual consciousness. The poisonous restriction is integrated with the soul. If it is forcibly broken, Linger will definitely die. Li Shiming observed it for a long time and couldn't help but shook his head. The red light ball took root in Li Linger's soul, causing both prosperity and loss. Even if he was a powerful quasi-emperor, there was nothing he could do. How is that possible? Ancestor, is there really nothing we can do? Li Shiming couldn't accept it. Even the quasi-emperor was helpless under the restriction. So how should he save Li Linger? Li Shiming's expression was a bit gloomy. He didn't know what to say for a while. After thinking for a long time, he slowly said, "The person who tied the bell must also be tied to untie it. The only way to do this is to find the person who placed the restraint on Linger and force him to take the initiative to untie it. You just don't know what the opponent's strength is? This is the only way at the moment, but the person who can arrange such a restriction must be very powerful, so it may not be that easy to find him." This. Li Qingfeng was a little dumbfounded. He didn't even have time to ask about the origin and appearance of his enemy, which made him regretful. Li Linger is unconscious now and cannot ask questions at all. Forehead. Your Majesty, Imperial Ancestor. Old Jean, who was behind the two of them, walked out with a nervous look on his face and said as if he was walking on thin ice. The old slave should have seen the other person. That person will be fine. He is just a monk from the heavenly origin realm and returned to the imperial city with the princess. My original intention was to kill this boy, but the princess said that her life was in her hands, so I didn't dare to act rashly. Li Shiming looked shocked. What did you say? The restrictions placed by the heavenly origin realm can make the powerful quasi-emperors helpless, which is simply a fantasy. Old Jean's divine body trembled. Even as a strong saint, he could not withstand Li Shiming's pressure. He was really afraid that the other party would vent his anger on him. Thinking of this, he quickly explained, "Her Royal Highness the Princess said so, I don't know the specific situation." Li Shiming fell into silence after hearing this. If Li Linger's restriction was really arranged by a guy from the heavenly origin realm, it would be too terrifying. Once such a character grows up, he may be able to sweep the entire human sovereign world. Chapter 34 The Power of 300 Dragon Elephants. Qing Fengli couldn't control so much. Since he knew Daoist was in the Imperial City, he had to dig deep to find him. I don't believe that a guy from the heavenly origin realm can make waves in the Imperial City. Mr. Jean, please draw this person's appearance. I will send 200,000 Imperial troops to assist you. We must find him. But one thing is, you must not hurt his life, otherwise my daughter will die. Do you understand? After speaking, he threw out a golden token, which was the certificate for mobilizing the Imperial Army. I understand. Mr. Jean took the token and immediately took action. He quickly found the leader of the Forbidden Army and made tens of thousands of portraits of Yi Chen and handed them to him. Search for this person's traces with all your strength, and capture him alive at all costs. This is your Majesty's order. The leader of the Forbidden Army did not dare to neglect, and quickly summoned his generals and ordered them to lead their troops to disperse throughout the Imperial City to search for Yi Chen's whereabouts. For a time, the entire Imperial City was in commotion, and the Forbidden Army was everywhere, constantly shuttling through the streets and alleys, seeming to be searching for someone. Ordinary people see Lien's legs and are afraid that they will be implicated. First, His Majesty was furious, and then sent a large number of forbidden troops. What happened? Many people started gossiping and wanted to find out what happened, but unfortunately they could not find any useful information. Little did he know that Yi Chen was in the inn at the corner of the Imperial City, practicing peacefully and completely unaware of what was happening outside. After half a month of practice, the realm has broken through to Heavenly Origin Realm's 7th layer. The Dragon Elephant heaven-suppressing technique also advanced by leaps and bounds under the blessing of the Yin-Yang Blood Sea, and the number of condensed ancient dragon elephants reached 300. Yi Chen estimated that with the power of his body, it would be easy to defeat the average transcending tribulation realm powerhouse, but he would need to practice to know how. Dong dong dong. Just then there was a sharp knock on the door. People inside, please open the door for me. We are the Royal Guards. We are ordered by His Majesty to search for a serious criminal. Anyone who does not cooperate will be killed without mercy. A sneer appeared at the corner of Yi Chen's mouth, and it was very clear that it was directed at him. Some time ago, when something happened to the restriction he planted, he immediately used his secret induction method and learned what happened next through Yi Linger. First, Li Linger suffered a backlash and fell into a coma. Later, the royal ancestors appeared. Finally, Qing Fengli sent out 200,000 forbidden troops and asked Mr. Jean to lead the entire city to arrest him. I didn't intend to pay attention to it at first, but people came to visit me, so it wouldn't make sense if I didn't say anything. Bang! The Imperial Guards outside the door were a little impatient, so they broke the door and rushed in to check. More than a dozen forbidden troops surrounded him. Is there something shady about being sneaky and not opening the door? The leader didn't even see Yi Chen's face clearly, and just said this, which shows how tyrannical the Imperial Army is. If it were an ordinary person, he might not dare to say anything. It's a pity that I had bad luck today and got into trouble with Yi Chen. Oh, what does this young master have to do with you? Do you live by the sea? The control is so broad. Yi Chen's barrage of words made several Imperial Guardsmen look at each other in confusion, and for a moment they didn't know how to refute. The leader was a big man with a black face and a terrifying scar on his face. He was shaking with anger and said viciously, "You be ********************************** D, you are looking for death." After becoming a member of the Royal Guards, everyone was polite when they saw any of them, so naturally they couldn't tolerate Yi Chen's provocation. The muscles all over his body tensed up, and with the power of his body, he punched out with explosive power, causing the tables and chairs in the room to shake up. "Boss is mighty, kill this kid. It's really rare for a guy to practice the power of the physical body." Yi Chen was a little surprised. This guy was able to cultivate his physical body to a level comparable to the 10,000 Dharma realm. It seemed that he had really put in a lot of effort. It is not that easy to defeat all laws with one force. The black-faced man was very helpful, with a proud expression on his face. He felt that Yi Chen was quite sensible, but he had to fire the arrow on the string and could not take back the fist he punched. "Boy, you have some knowledge, but if you dare to insult our imperial army, you must be taught a lesson today. Otherwise, how can we survive if the news spreads? If you can withstand my punch and not die, then I will let you go today." Yi Chen shook his head. These people in front of him were so silly and cute. They were all here to find him, but no one recognized him. It was a bit too funny. Slowly stretched out a finger, and directly flicked the black-faced man away in front of everyone's shocked eyes. Bang! A big hole was made in the wall, and it fell hard to the street, causing many passers-by to watch. It seems to be the royal guards. Who is so brave and dares to provoke them? Don't you want to live? This is the first time I've seen the Forbidden Army in such a mess. I really want to see who took action. The people around were talking a lot, pointing at the fallen black-faced man, with a hint of gloating in their tone. The black-faced man's face turned even darker when he heard this. He felt that he had lost face, and he immediately vented his anger on the passers-by who were watching. "Get the hell out of here, the royal guards are doing their work, and the rest of the gang are waiting to avoid it, or I'll take you all back together." Unexpectedly, as soon as he finished speaking, his companions fell from the upstairs and hit the street hard. Some of them died tragically on the spot, their bodies were torn into pieces, their brains were splashed out, and their blood flowed all over the floor. Yi Chen jumped down from the face and crushed a person's head. His screams could be heard within 1,000 meters. "Huh, what kind of royal guards? There are 2 or 3 cats and dogs, and you still want to bully me, you really don't know how to live or die." As soon as he finished speaking, he came to the front of 2 forbidden soldiers. With a slight stroke of his palm, their heads were separated, and there was no time to react. The system detects that the host is gradually becoming murderous and acquires a new task. The task is divided into 3 stages. Kill 10,000 royal guards and the reward level will be upgraded. Kill 30,000 royal guards, and the reward realm will be upgraded to the 2nd level. Kill 100,000 forbidden troops, the reward realm will be upgraded to 3 levels, and the immortal magic will be imprisoned in the sky. "Tongzi, you are so awesome." Yi Chen praised greatly, even using magic skills to reward him. It seemed that he was going to kill again today. Thinking of this, he showed a cruel smile. At this time, the black-faced man was still dumbfounded on the spot, until Yi Chen slowly walked towards him. He woke up in an instant and hurriedly fled away. There's no way to run away. Yi Chen waved his hand and unleashed a powerful spiritual force. The forbidden soldiers lying on the ground instantly turned into countless pieces of flesh, with blood splattering on the people around them. Then he chased the black-faced man, and in a blink of an eye he was behind him. He lightly touched the man with his palm, and his body exploded immediately. The 300 ancient dragon elephants in his body are equivalent to 30 million kilograms of divine power. Yi Chen can easily smash even a small mountain. Naturally, the black-faced man cannot withstand such power. Chapter 35 Escape. Are you worthy? The bloody methods shocked the passers-by who were watching. The eyes of several transcending tribulation realm experts flickered and they carefully looked at Yi Chen in front of them. Killing the imperial guards in full public view. It was a slap in the face of the royal family. This is the first time someone dares to do this. Oh my God, who is this boy? I'm afraid the royal family won't let it go. It's none of your business, just hang on. Many people were afraid that they would be involved and hurriedly left this place of right and wrong. After all, no one knew what would happen later. Yi Chen ignored the comments of passers-by, and the heavenly demon killing Kung Fu and the Yin and Yang blood sea were activated at the same time, absorbing the energy and blood spilled from the dead forbidden army. No matter how small a mosquito is, it is still flesh. He understands the principle of adding up a little to make a big thing, so naturally he will not waste it in vain. The man in Demon Dao? Aren't you afraid of being attacked by many forces? The onlookers looked enlightened, guessing that the conflict between Yi Chen and the Forbidden Army was due to the discovery of blood-devouring magic skills. Otherwise it would never be the case. Everyone knows that the strong Demon Dao has made rapid progress in cultivation, all relying on cruelty or some special means, and has formed a bloody feud with countless forces. Basically, I heard that wherever a strong Demon Dao appears, there will immediately be forces voluntarily organizing strong people to encircle and suppress them. It is very reasonable for the Imperial Army to take action to kill Demon Dao's people. However, most Demon Dao people who come out to practice alone are not too high profile. Those who are as unscrupulous as Yi Chen are definitely very few. Hee hee. Yi Chen smiled, it doesn't matter if it's Demon Dao or not, just follow your own heart when doing things. Then he left the place leisurely, as if nothing had ever happened. Little did he know that before he died, the black-faced man passed on the news here, and within a short time, thousands of forbidden troops surrounded Yi Chen. Boy, if you want to kill my royal guards and run away, just surrender and capture them. Maybe you can die a little more happily. The person who spoke was a strong man from the transcending tribulation realm. He was considered the #1 figure even among the Forbidden Army. His status was very high. The passers-by who were watching retreated one after another when they saw this. After all, no one wanted to quarrel with the Forbidden Army. Even a strong half-saint man smiled and signaled. Escape? Are you worthy? Yi Chen turned his head to look at the transcending tribulation realm strongman. The golden light around him was flickering, and his terrifying defense power made people sigh. He was ready to take action at any time. It's just time to test whether your physical strength can defeat the strong one in the transcending tribulation realm. The person in front of you is undoubtedly the best test subject. That's him. Please inform the generals quickly that we are no match. Everyone must not take it lightly. At the critical moment, the old man with a broken arm flew over and hurriedly alerted the surrounding Forbidden Army. Even though Yi Chen's cultivation was in the heavenly origin realm, he had a terrifying magic sword in his hand that could cut off his own arm in a single confrontation. Thousands of forbidden troops might not be enough to kill him. After hearing this, many forbidden soldiers took out the portraits and compared them carefully, and realized that the Yi Chen in front of them was the person they had been searching for more than 10 days. Everyone's blood is boiling. If they can catch each other, they will definitely gain His Majesty's respect. As for the reminder of the old man with a broken arm, he simply turned a deaf ear. Humph, a young boy, how can he scare you so much? If you don't dare to take action, then leave it to me. Just don't take the credit later. The first transcending tribulation realm strongman showed disdain. He really didn't understand what a guy from the heavenly origin realm had to be afraid of. Boy, let's capture him without any effort. The man stretched out his palm and mobilized the power of the surrounding heaven and earth, turning it into a big golden palm and grabbing it towards Yi Chen. I began to imagine in my heart what reward I would get if I caught the person His Majesty wanted. The strong man of transcending tribulation realm. Yi Chen was not lenient at all. With the power of his body, he smashed the golden palm into pieces and rushed towards the transcending tribulation realm strong man with undiminished power. Not good. The face of the transcending tribulation realm expert changed drastically. He felt a strong life and death crisis and concentrated all his spiritual energy throughout his body, trying to block Yi Chen's collision. Bang! Crack! Boom! It's a pity that Yi Chen's strength was still underestimated. The condensed defense had almost no effect, and everything was shattered at the moment of collision. The whole person flew straight out, smashing a lot of buildings before stopping. Many innocent people were affected, which was very unlucky. Ahem. How is that possible? The transcending tribulation realm strongman wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, endured the pain and climbed out of the ruins. He looked very embarrassed and looked at Yi Chen uncertainly. It is really unimaginable that a heavenly origin realm monk's physical body is so powerful. His physical body is comparable to that of a powerful person in the transcending tribulation realm. It's really terrible. If one day the body is sanctified, it will be even more outrageous. Hurry up and set up a joint formation, and join forces to delay the enemy for a while. The old man with a broken arm commanded the Forbidden Army to form a formation, preparing to take the lead to compete with Yi Chen, waiting for more powerful Forbidden Army to come to support. I'm afraid you won't have this chance. Yi Chen sneered, rushed into the thousands of forbidden soldiers in an instant, started to fight left and right, and killed hundreds of forbidden soldiers in a few minutes. The god of killing went completely crazy, constantly increasing his strength, including his own physical strength, making him more comfortable in killing. I spared your life last time, but it's a pity that you still can't think about it. I will send you to the west. Yi Chen silently came up behind the old man with the broken arm, and before he could react, he tore off the other man's other arm. Ah, save me! The old man with a broken arm screamed and hurriedly called for help from the previous transcending tribulation realm strongman. Unfortunately, Yi Chen didn't give him a chance. His palm fell on the top of his head and pulled out the spine. A strong man from the transcending tribulation realm fell like this. The cruel methods made the Imperial Guards couldn't help but take a few steps back, not daring to face the evil star Yi Chen. Boy, I finally found you. Fortunately, at this time, a large number of forbidden troops came over one after another, forming a siege on Yi Chen, including several strong semi-saints. Ha ha ha. The more that come, the better. Yi Chen soared into the air and reached an altitude of 10,000 meters. Looking at the large number of forbidden troops approaching, he couldn't help laughing. If there are no accidents, the task may be completed soon. Don't let him escape, wait until you arrange a combined attack formation to seal off this world. Several powerful semi-saints thought that Yi Chen was trying to escape, so they immediately chased him and used their divine ability to kill him, shattering a large amount of space with a terrifying momentum. Chapter 36 Kill. 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 Don't worry, I won't leave until I kill you all today. Of course, Yi Chen did not dare to underestimate the decisive kills of several semi-saints. The Nine Dragons' demonic sword appeared, exuding terrifying demonic energy, annihilating the power of several people. That magic weapon is very scary, be careful not to get in the opponent's way. Several semi-saints broke out with all their strength and fought with Yi Chen, trying to buy time for the approaching Imperial Army to set up a joint attack formation. The shadows in the sky are ever-changing. Yi Chen was not going to wait idly. He made a hand gesture with his hands, gathered the energy spilled from the broken space, and divided into hundreds of incarnations. Kill the forbidden forces in different directions. Each soul formation has 1/10 of the power of its own body, so it is easy to deal with the weaker ones. Kill. 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 The shouts of killing soared to the sky for a moment, disrupting the formation of the Forbidden Army, making it impossible for them to deploy a combined force formation. Surround and kill those incarnations with all your strength, don't give the enemy a chance to take advantage of them. A strong man left the scene and directed the Forbidden Army to fight in order to stabilize the formation as soon as possible and arrange formations to seal off the world. Otherwise, it would not be so easy to catch Yi Chen. Huh, you are too underestimated. Suddenly there was no semi-saint, and Yi Chen suddenly felt that the pressure was greatly reduced. He held the Nine Dragons' demon sword and used the Great Emperor divine ability to cut through the sky, and the terrifying magic light penetrated the space. The 6 semi-saints in front of him were severely injured in an instant. This boy's strength is too terrifying, we must fight hard. The 6 semi-saints did not hesitate to burn part of their longevity to forcibly increase their strength to the peak, trying to hold Yi Chen back at any cost. I won't play with you anymore. The variety of Kongying is not just as simple as incarnation, but more importantly, the main body can be switched with any clone at will. Yi Chen switched to a clone at will, and the power of the Nine Dragons' demonic sword exploded, killing thousands of forbidden troops in an instant, leaving the broken limbs scattered on the ground. The formation that was about to be set up was damaged again, and many of the imperial troops were a little scared. Yi Chen was so cruel that they couldn't stop him at all, and a few strong semi-saints couldn't do anything about it. If this continues, I'm afraid all the 200,000 gold troops will be in vain, and we must find a better way. Notify Mr. Zhang that we have found traces of the enemy. According to the current trend, they were not absolutely sure of capturing Yi Chen alive, so they had to invite stronger people to take charge. It doesn't matter who comes. Yi Chen didn't panic at all, waiting for him to kill, so what if he was a saint and a strong man? After killing many forbidden soldiers, the heavenly demon killing technique started to operate on its own, frantically absorbing the energy spilled around, and the cultivation base continued to rise. Heavenly Origin Realm 8th Layer. After breaking through the realm and increasing the body of the killing god, Yi Chen's strength became even more terrifying, and all the semi-saints couldn't suppress him together. The numerous forbidden troops were unable to form a combined force formation, and they were unable to pose a threat to Yi Chen. It didn't take long for the death toll to reach tens of thousands. Cultivation came to Heavenly Origin Realm 9th Layer. The host kills 10,000 royal guards and the reward realm is upgraded by 1 level. Shattered Void Realm 1st Layer. Feeling the power coming from his body, Yi Chen became even more crazy, and the power of divine ability increased again by several %. At the same time, more forbidden troops poured into the battlefield. Almost all of them were present, including more than a dozen strong semi-saints. Their auras were majestic, standing like mountains on the battlefield. The number of powerful people in the transcending tribulation realm has reached hundreds. These people exude a powerful pressure that makes people feel heart-stopping. Entering the battlefield, he immediately launched a siege on Yi Chen, took corresponding countermeasures, and began to kill those incarnations. Catch him while you have the chance. A powerful half-saint man shouted, and his voice exploded on the battlefield like thunder. His body flashed and turned into a stream of light rushing towards Yi Chen. Holding a silver spear, the gun body flashed with dazzling light. The divine power within the body soared into the sky, as if it was about to tear the entire sky apart. In the blink of an eye, the silver spear came across the sky, carrying endless power, almost comparable to a saint's full blow, which shows how terrifying this person is. The powerful force, like a surging ocean wave, hit Yi Chen hard, forcing him to take several steps back. Many strong men took the opportunity to unleash all their strength, and various attacks were as violent as a violent storm. The space within 100 miles radius was shattered, as if the entire world was about to be torn apart. Under such a powerful offensive, Yi Chen could not turn the tide even with the 9 dragons' demon sword. At the same time, space turbulence broke out everywhere, forming terrifying vortices and cracks. It contains terrible energy. If it touches it even slightly, the body will be torn into pieces instantly and turned into nothingness. Many forbidden soldiers died tragically under this terrifying force. His body exploded in the air, and blood and flesh flew everywhere. It was too horrible to watch. Fortunately, the combined attack formation is about to be completed. By then, we will be able to suppress Yi Chen and complete the mission assigned by His Majesty. The power of 200,000 forbidden troops has been gathered together, and each one of them is a master above the air control realm. All united together, they definitely have the ability to kill saints. If it weren't for the purpose of capturing Yi Chen alive, the 200,000 forbidden troops would never be so passive. They have lost more than 20,000 people so far, and the price is not as heavy as usual. Yi Chen was well aware of the power of the combined attack formation and did not dare to relax at all times, so he decisively took out a true demon blood pill and took it. Boom! The power in his body instantly increased many times. With the blessing of the killing god body, Yi Chen's strength was greatly improved. Invincible dual pupils shoots out several beams of destructive power, tearing apart the surrounding space and forming a powerful energy field. The power of destruction was like a torrent, rushing towards the surrounding forbidden army, temporarily trapping them and delaying them for some time. Immediately afterwards, the netherfire burned blazingly, forming a sea of fire. The fire of the netherworld was like a poisonous snake, quickly spreading among the hundreds of thousands of forbidden troops. No matter what force the Imperial Guards used to resist, they could not extinguish these netherworld fires. Ah! Help! A series of miserable screams came out from the sea of fire, and many forbidden soldiers were swallowed up by the flames and their bodies were turned into ashes. However, despite suffering such heavy losses, the forbidden army still gritted their teeth and resisted tenaciously. They were bound to suppress Yi Chen and not give him any chance to stand up. Shattered Void Realm Second Layer. Unknowingly, Yi Chen's realm improved again. First Layer. The host kills 30,000 royal guards and the reward realm is upgraded to the second level. The third layer of Shattered Void Realm. The third layer of Shattered Void Realm. A dozen strong men saw that something was wrong and realized that Yi Chen's power was constantly getting stronger. They must not let it continue to develop. Lien united with hundreds of transcending Tribulation Realm experts to activate a powerful divine ability called the 8-Dragon Lock Demon. 8 golden dragons appeared out of thin air, spitting out the terrifying power of ancient gold from their mouths, beating Yi Chen full of holes, and blood flowed uncontrollably. He was obviously hit hard. Chapter 37 The Power of the 10,000 Soul Banners. Hundreds of strong men from the Forbidden Army pursued the victory, controlling 8 golden dragons to twine towards Yi Chen. Each golden dragon exuded powerful suppressive power, as if it was going to distort the entire space. The corners of Yi Chen's mouth raised slightly, revealing a confident smile. "I'm not a vegetarian." His eyes suddenly opened, and he exploded the Samsara Immortal Demon Eyes with all his strength, summoning the phantom of the Samsara Heavenly Disk, surrounded by endless mysterious aura. The reincarnation sky disk collided fiercely with the 8 golden dragons, and the color of the sky and the earth changed for a while, and the wind and clouds surged. The forces of both sides are in a stalemate, and no one can gain the upper hand. What a terrifying strength! One person fought against 200,000 forbidden troops and killed tens of thousands of them. Heaven-defying. What is the origin of this child? Everyone was talking a lot, and they were very curious about Yi Chen's identity. At this time, the murderous intention around Yi Huan's body turned blood red, and he looked at the surrounding forbidden army indifferently. The killing has just begun, and the exciting moments will come next. Taking advantage of many strong men being restrained by the Samsara Heavenly Disk, they quickly took out the 10,000 Soul Banner. Kneading the magic formula with his hands and muttering words in his mouth, mysterious runes flew out from the 10,000 Souls Banner and disappeared into the surrounding void. As Yi Chen performed it, the 10,000 Souls Banner emitted a strange light, instantly absorbing all the remaining souls of those who died on the battlefield. Those remaining souls were quickly refined in the 10,000 Souls Banner and became part of the 10,000 Souls Banner. They were finally successfully upgraded into low-grade sacred weapons. The power has been qualitatively improved, and it is several times more powerful than before. Yi Chen gently waved the 10,000 souls flag in his hand, and hundreds of thousands of souls surged out like a tide. They were flying and circling in the air, forming an eerie purgatory, with countless yin qi constantly flowing, making people's hair stand on end. Those souls were like ghosts, easily getting into the bodies of the royal guards, devouring the flesh and blood of these people crazily, corroding their spiritual power and souls. The strength of the Royal Imperial Army was greatly weakened, their bodies gradually shriveled up, their spiritual power was severely lost, and their souls were also greatly traumatized. Without strong strength, it would be difficult to force these souls out of the body, and in this case they would suffer a lot of torture and die miserably. Less than half an hour later, some members of the Royal Imperial Army began to wail, apparently unable to resist the blood brought by the souls of the 10,000 soul banners. It didn't take long for the Imperial Guards to die one after another. The screams were endless. There are some powerful forbidden troops, but it is useless to destroy those souls. Because the dead souls will be reborn within the 10,000 soul banner, although their strength will become weaker, it is still no problem to continue fighting. Moreover, it takes a period of time to recover and return to its original state, which is immortality in a narrow sense. Not long after, the previously fallen souls rushed out again, and together with the netherworld flame, caused great damage to the Royal Forbidden Army. Everyone looked shocked and they saw the terrifying scene in front of them, really afraid that those souls would rush towards them. Oh my God, what a terrifying magic weapon! The souls inside seemed to be endless. In a short time, tens of thousands more forbidden troops were killed. The corpses below were piled up like mountains, and Yi Chen killed countless people in fear. The fourth layer of Shattered Void Realm. The fifth layer of Shattered Void Realm. The heavenly demon killing skill is running crazily, and his cultivation and longevity are constantly improving. The increase in the killing body has reached an astonishing level. No matter the cost, Yi Chen has the confidence to fight against the strong saint. The semi-saint powerhouses and transcending tribulation realm powerhouses who besieged him had all suffered heavy losses and were almost unable to hold on. At this time in the palace, Mr. Zhan received news from the Forbidden Army. Don't dare to neglect anything. Quickly notify Qing Fengli. Your Majesty, we found that guy, but it's a little tricky. The Imperial Army is fighting hard with him. To avoid any accidents, I'm going to take action personally, so I can absolutely guarantee that nothing will go wrong. In fact, I was very worried. 200,000 Imperial troops didn't capture a single guy from the Heavenly Origin realm. It was really embarrassing. Qing Fengli was a little shocked. He didn't expect a guy from the Heavenly Origin realm to be so difficult to catch. It was beyond his expectation. Looking at the unconscious Li Linger, his expression gradually darkened, and he said in a cold tone, I will personally take action to see who this kid is. The wedding day with Yi Yun is about to come. If the restriction cannot be lifted, it may be a bit unjustifiable. Cough. At this moment, Li Linger woke up. I also heard the conversation between the two. There was unconcealable fear in his eyes. Father, the other party is cruel and merciless. If you push too hard, I'm afraid my daughter will really die. The restrictions in the main soul were too terrible. The last time it almost cost her half of her life. If she did it again, the result would be hard to say. Daughter, don't worry, leave the rest to me. I don't believe that this boy is really not afraid of death. When Li Qingfeng saw the weak Li Linger, he couldn't help but clenched his fists tightly and tried to help him lift the restrictions in his soul. Intimidation is fine. No matter the inducement. He is willing to pay whatever it takes. After comforting Li Ling for a few words, he left the palace with Mr. Zhan. The two of them were extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye they had crossed over half of the imperial city and arrived at the location of many forbidden troops. How come? Qing Fengli looked at the corpses on the ground and his pupils couldn't help but shrink. It was so shocking, it was like purgatory on earth. Netherworld breaking heaven / Yi Chen was not aware of the arrival of the two men at all, and continued to charge and kill, using various powerful methods in an endless stream, and the Royal Imperial Army was retreating steadily. From time to time, a large number of corpses fall down, and the loss of the 200,000 forbidden troops is almost more than half. Boom. See this scene. Qing Fengli's terrifying pressure was released. The souls and the 10,000 souls banner retreated like frightened birds. Destroy the fire of the underworld with a wave of your hand. Raise your hand and shatter the samsara sky disk. Puff. Several divine abilities were broken one after another, and Yi Chen suffered severe backlash. He spit out a large mouthful of blood and staggered in the air. The surviving Imperial guards all bowed and saluted. See your Majesty. The semi-saints and the transcending tribulation realm stopped taking action and retreated one after another. I'm going. His Majesty took action personally. As expected of the Holy Emperor, he was able to severely damage that evil star with just one encounter. The crowd below became commotion. No one expected that the Emperor of the Tang dynasty would actually take action himself. It was really unbelievable. The ending is decided. Everyone has the same idea in mind. Qing Fengli ignored the comments of others and walked forward step by step. The aura of the Holy Emperor was like the primordial divine mountain, crushing a large amount of space and suppressing Yi Chen. Boy, you are so brave. No one can save you today. If you are captured without mercy, maybe I can let you die a little more happily. Do you know? The man in front of him not only took away his daughter's innocence, but also planted a vicious restriction, and even killed so many of his forbidden troops. Thinking of this, the murderous intent and anger in his body reached its peak, almost uncontrollable and almost bursting out. Chapter 38, The Finger of Prisoner in the Wilderness. The pressure of the Holy Emperor level made the golden light on Yi Chen's body dim a bit, and his body bent unconsciously. But his expression remained calm, and he said calmly, "Your daughter's life and death are in my hands. If she takes another step forward, she will definitely die. If you don't believe me, you can try it. You must have seen the restrictions imposed by me. If you can lift them, you won't have to go through so much trouble. With Li Linger as a hostage in hand, there is nothing to be afraid of." When Li Qingfeng heard this, he became so angry that when combined with his murderous intent, the color of the world changed. Many people were so frightened that they knelt on the ground, unable to bear the overwhelming anger. "Boy, I will not accept threats from anyone. I'll give you a choice, which is to unlock my daughter's restraints and give you a way to survive. Otherwise, just stay here today." The surviving imperial guards looked at each other in shock. The person in front of him actually dared to hurt the princess, and it seemed that he had planted some terrible restrictions. No wonder His Majesty sent 200,000 imperial troops. Everyone finally knew the cause and effect. Everyone was frightened. I will not accept threats. I will also give you a choice. Disappear in front of my eyes within 10 breaths, otherwise your daughter will definitely die. Yi Chen sneered. If the other party didn't care about Li Linger's life or death, he would have taken action against him long ago. There was no need to talk so much nonsense. Li Qingfeng's expression was uncertain. He originally wanted to force Yi Chen to surrender and lift the restrictions in Yi Linger's soul, but now it seems that the other party is not willing to accept this. Thinking of this made me feel heavy, but for the sake of my daughter, I had to grit my teeth and say, "Boy, there is always room for negotiation in everything. As long as you are willing to lift my daughter's restriction, I can agree to any request you have. The Tang dynasty has all the treasures, weapons and machines. If you want anything, just ask. I can even make an oath of heaven to never cause trouble to you afterwards. How about that? If the hard one doesn't work, you can only use the soft one. I believe that no one can resist the conditions you set. Roll. I don't have time to talk nonsense with you. Go back and tell Li Linger to think carefully about what I said. If you provoke me again, you will be responsible for all the consequences." 10. 9. 8. Yi Chen didn't care about Qingfeng Li's identity and told him to get out in front of everyone, showing no mercy at all. Hiss. The people around him took a breath when they heard this. Someone actually dared to scold the master of the Tang dynasty in public. That would be too crazy. You. Qingfeng Li almost exploded with anger. No one had ever dared to speak to him like that. I wish I could cut Yi Chen into pieces with 1,000 knives. But thinking of his daughter's life, he had no choice but to suppress the boundless anger in his heart and left the place in a flash. Mr. Zhan's face was extremely ugly. He did not expect it to end like this. I am afraid that after today, the Tang dynasty will be completely disgraced. Thinking of this, he directed his anger towards the Forbidden Army. A bunch of trash, get all back here. The surviving imperial guards lowered their heads and did not dare to say a word. Their 200,000 imperial guards could not do anything to a young boy. If word spread, they would be ridiculed. Did I let you go? Yi Chen shouted coldly, and his momentum suddenly exploded. The 10,000 souls flag in his hand rose up and hovered in the sky above many forbidden troops. A stream of black air flowed out from it, forming a huge vortex, revealing a large amount of yin qi. The next moment, densely packed souls flew out from it. The faces of these souls were distorted, exuding strong resentment and murderous intent. At the same time, two mysterious forces emerged from Yi Chen's eyes, and the powerful power of immortals and demons surged, summoning the Samsara heavenly disk again. The power was even more powerful than before, and the breath it just exuded made people feel suffocated. Hundreds of thousands of god-fiend shadows rushed out. Holding various weapons, they roared towards the remaining forbidden army, and together with the souls of the 10,000 soul banners, they formed an eternal killing force. In an instant, cries of killing and screams intertwined together, echoing throughout the world. The Imperial Guards were horrified to find that they and others were unable to withstand the hundreds of thousands of God-fiend shadows and souls. In just a moment, 50,000 to 60,000 Imperial Guards fell in a pool of blood, and their corpses fell like raindrops. The host kills 100,000 forbidden troops, and the reward realm is upgraded to 3 levels, and the immortal magic is imprisoned in the sky. The great wilderness imprisoning heaven finger, with one finger, the heaven and earth are imprisoned, and the immortals and demons are shocked and exterminated. The 6th layer of Shattered Void Realm. Broken Void Realm 7th layer. Shattered Void Realm 8th layer. What a madman. Mr. Jean didn't even expect that Yi Chen would be so cruel. He had no idea of letting the Imperial army go. Did he really think that he could do whatever he wanted? The spiritual power in his body spurted out, and his fighting spirit instantly reached its peak. A long knife appeared in his hand, cutting through the sky for hundreds of miles, annihilating countless God-fiend shadows and souls. Run away. The Imperial Guards who were lucky enough to survive fled the scene in a rolling and crawling manner, fearing that they would die here a second later. Yi Chen was really terrible. Boy, our emperor is magnanimous and lets you go, what else do you want? Mr. Jean took the lead and stood in front of the Forbidden Army, giving them a chance to escape and avoid all of them dying in Yi Chen's hands. Ridiculous. Yi Chen scoffed when he heard this. He raised his hand and used the magic spell Dahuang Prisoner's Heavenly Finger, and a terrifying divine light suddenly appeared between his fingers. In an instant, the power of heaven and earth with a radius of 100,000 meters was evacuated, and it condensed into a huge finger in the air. Kill. As Yi Chen roared, his huge fingers crashed down with devastating power. The space seemed to be torn apart at this moment and turned into nothingness. Jean Lao felt an unprecedented life and death crisis rushing into his heart. His eyes widened and he was terrified, desperately trying to avoid this fatal blow. However, the surrounding space was completely suppressed, making it difficult for him to move. His body seemed to be trapped by invisible shackles, and he could not move even half a step. At the critical moment, he burned a lot of his lifespan and managed to break free. However, it was impossible to escape. He could only use all his strength to face the huge finger. Puff! At the moment of collision, he spit out a mouthful of blood. The huge fingers are like the primordial divine mountain, containing all the power. Even if he is a strong saint, it is difficult to resist. Chapter 39 88.8 million kilograms of divine power. What about the saint and the strong? Yi Chen showed a disdainful smile, and the 9 dragons' demon sword released 9 rays of 10,000 meters of magic light, attacking the fleeing Imperial army indiscriminately. Almost no one was spared. Blood rained down from the sky, mixed with countless pieces of flesh and broken limbs. 100 miles around turned into a Shura field, swallowing the lives of all the forbidden troops. Not good. Seeing that the situation was not good, Jean Lao burned more longevity energy to burst out with stronger power. He raised his huge fingers above his head and quickly used his secret technique to escape. You can run fast. Yi Chen did not continue to pursue. The most important thing at the moment was to improve his strength. The 10,000 soul banner blew gusts of dark wind, sweeping away the souls of all the dead Imperial Guards. The heavenly demon skill crazily absorbs the surrounding power, increasing longevity and cultivation at an extremely rapid rate. Shattered Void Realm 9th layer. Transcending Tribulation Realm 1st layer. When breaking through the Transcending Tribulation Realm, a strange phenomenon suddenly appeared in the sky, and a large number of thunderclouds gathered, containing powerful thunder power. Thunder Tribulation? What state is this child in? Looking at the size of the thunder cloud, it should be the thunder tribulation that has just broken through the Transcending Tribulation Realm. No way. The strong men watching showed expressions of disbelief. Kill 200,000 forbidden troops. Defeat the strong saint. With such terrifying strength, the realm has just reached the Transcending Tribulation Realm? If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, I'm afraid no one would dare to believe it. This person should have used some kind of heaven-defying method to forcibly increase his strength, otherwise it would be impossible to do it. No matter what the means, it means that this person is not easy to mess with. Don't mess with me. Tell the bastards in the clan not to go out recently, otherwise they will die if they encounter this evil star. Boom. At this time, the thunder cloud had accumulated enough power and violently rained down a thick purple thunderbolt, which contained terrible destructive power and struck Yi Chen hard. This is the thunder tribulation that transcending tribulation realm needs to go through. Every time you break through a small realm, there will be one more thunder tribulation, which is very scary. Ordinary monks must be careful when facing thunder tribulation. If they are not careful, they may die. But Yi Chen's physical body was too powerful. The thunder tribulation fell on him, only a wisp of green smoke came out, and his skin was not even scratched. Yi Chen couldn't help but shook his head. A thunder tribulation was neither painful nor itchy, making people feel almost nothing. It's boring, my God, are you tickling me? Lei Yun seemed to understand Yi Chen's words, and the power of thunder instantly became violent, trying to land a more powerful thunder tribulation. It's a pity that it still hasn't been chopped down, because everything in the world is under the operation of heaven, everything must abide by the rules, and even thunder tribulation is not immune. Transcending tribulation realm first layer, you can only land one thunder tribulation. The gathering thunderclouds seemed to be conscious and dispersed unwillingly. Transcending tribulation realm second layer. Unexpectedly, in just a moment, Yi Chen would break through to another level. The thunderclouds that had just dispersed gathered again, and the violent power continued to roll, and two powerful thunderclouds were dropped one after another, trying to kill Yi Chen here. Bang, bang. But it was still useless to Yi Chen. Two thunderbolts hit his body, making a sound of metal collision. Too weak. Yi Chen sneered. The next second, suddenly rushed into the thunder. The Nine Dragons' demon sword burst out with a large amount of magic light, tearing apart the thunder clouds, and the sky suddenly returned to calm. Abnormal. People who saw this scene were so shocked that they didn't know what to say, and the same thoughts appeared in their hearts. Everyone else is crossing thunder tribulation. On Yi Chen's part, he destroyed Lei Yun and solved the problem from the source. This was truly unbelievable. Advanced to several realms in succession. Yi Chen was very satisfied. But instead of just leaving, he activated the Yin and Yang blood sea to manifest above his head, frantically absorbing the blood spilled by the 200,000 forbidden troops. Crash. Countless blood turned into rivers and entered the Yin and Yang blood sea, transformed into extremely pure blood, and fed back into Yi Chen's body. The dragon-elephant heaven-suppressing technique started to operate uncontrollably, at a speed 100 times and 1,000 times faster than before, and the ancient dragon elephants quickly condensed. 303 heads. 315 heads. 400 heads. 500 heads. 600 heads. 700 heads. After the number reached 888, the speed slowly slowed down and returned to its previous state. Cheer up. If we gather more than 100 more, we can achieve physical sanctification. The sudden change made Yi Chen unable to handle it. His physical body has undergone earth-shaking changes, and he is equipped with 88.8 million kilograms of divine power, which can crush almost any strong semi-saint. This way. When you meet that guy Yi Yun, you might be able to defeat him with just your physical strength. At that time, I will take back my supreme sword bone with my own hands and humiliate the other party. Just thinking about it will make me feel physically and mentally comfortable. Just then, there was a fluctuation in the space next to it, and an old man in gold robe appeared. He was the ancestor of the royal family and asked with a puzzled expression. You have defeated a powerful saint in several realms. The energy and blood in your body is like a sea. The power of your physical body is extremely powerful. Your cultivation level can rise so fast. What is your identity? If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have dared to imagine that a junior could be so defiant. The 10,000 soul banner, the reincarnation heavenly disc, the netherworld flame, etc., each one is extremely terrifying. And that magic sword, even as a quasi-emperor, he felt a little palpitation in his heart. It's really unimaginable. How can one person have so many means? Especially the way Yi Chen improved his cultivation, even if he secretly observed it for a long time, he couldn't find any clues. If this trend continues, I'm afraid the human sovereign world will have to change its name. However, the royal family of the Tang dynasty became enemies with him. When Yi Chen grows up in the future, they may be the first to be unlucky. Thinking of this murderous intention emerged unconsciously. The aura of the quasi-emperor grade was released, and Yi Chen couldn't bear to take a few steps back. One can imagine how terrifying the ancestor of the royal family was. The visitor is a quasi-emperor 9th layer heavenly powerhouse. He has the body of a golden dragon and is only a hair away from breaking through the great emperor realm. The danger level is 5 stars. The host must deal with it carefully to avoid falling into the opponent's hands. Yi Chen looked a little moved. No wonder the royal family of the Tang dynasty was so famous, and their background was much stronger than that of the Liang dynasty. It turned out that there was such a terrifying and powerful person in charge. However, it is still impossible to scare him. The worst-case scenario is to use the quasi-emperor cultivation experience card. It is not yet known who will win by then. No comment. If Senior wants to kill me, just do it. But you have to think carefully about the consequences. I can guarantee that the entire imperial city will be destroyed by then. Just so arrogant. The quasi-emperor is also shameless when he comes. If he can't fight, he will fight to the end. Anyway, he has enough confidence. As soon as these words came out, countless people were frightened. Judging from Yi Chen's demeanor, he doesn't seem to be exaggerating. If a conflict really breaks out between the two, I'm afraid they will be the first to be unlucky. God bless you. Never start a fight. Many people began to pray. Chapter 40 Wedding Day. You threaten me? The power of the ancestors of the royal family continued to surge, and they stared at Yi Chen with their eyes fixed on Yi Chen. They didn't understand how a junior could have such confidence. It's not a threat, I'm just telling the truth. Yi Chen looked calm and looked up at him calmly, full of provocation. Okay. 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 Have courage. The ancestor of the royal family clapped his hands and did not dare to act rashly. If Yi Chen really concealed some terrible means, the imperial city that he had worked so hard to build would be destroyed. It's always been like this. Yi Chen was neither humble nor arrogant, and was not affected by the pressure of the other quasi-emperor at all. Junior, I won't embarrass you today, but you should never do anything too wrong. After the royal ancestor said a word, he disappeared between heaven and earth. No one could see how the other party left, including Yi Chen. This is the terror of the powerful quasi-emperor. Really awesome. After the ancestors of the royal family left, many powerful people gave Yi Chen a thumbs up. Even the powerful quasi-emperors are not taken seriously. Looking at the entire human sovereign world, there are probably only a few. It is really a mess. Yi Chen smiled, as if nothing happened, and returned to the imperial city again. Many people were so frightened that they fell to the ground. The body was trembling slightly, and I was really scared inside. I was really afraid that the murderous god in front of me would kill them casually. Yi Chen had no time to pay attention to these people, so he went around looking for a place to stay, and continued to practice, trying to improve his strength a little more. In the palace, Li Ling'er saw the gloomy Qing Fengli and guessed the outcome of the matter. In order not to worry the latter, she forced a smile and said, "Father, it's no big deal. That guy is going after Yi Yun. He also said that after resolving the grudge between the two, he will take the initiative to lift the restriction in my soul. In the meantime, don't look for him again." As for the current plan, she can only hope that Yi Chen can keep his promise and let her go when she leaves, otherwise she will really have to live in the shadows her whole life. What, this guy has a grudge against Yi Yun? When Qing Fengli learned about this, his expression became even more ugly. Yi Yun possesses the innate sword body and the supreme sword bone. He is only at the 6th layer of the semi-saint realm and is capable of fighting against the strong saints. It is certain that he will become the great emperor in the future. The heavenly sword Holy Land naturally does not allow any accidents to happen to him. There must be many strong people following him on his wedding day, and it is impossible to kill him. As a result, Yi Chen will definitely be in danger, and Li Linger's life will be seriously threatened, which is a dilemma for him. Oh, it's all my father's fault. Thinking of this, Qing Fengli looked helpless, thinking that as the head of the Tang dynasty, controlling hundreds of millions of people in a vast territory, he could not even protect his own daughter. Your Majesty, something serious has happened. At this moment, Mr. Zhan rushed in covered in blood, telling the news that all the forbidden forces were dead, and wanted to see how Li Qingfeng would deal with it. This kid is bullying people too much. Qingfeng Li's face changed drastically when he heard this, and his heart was filled with overwhelming anger. He was defeated by a young boy one after another, making him almost collapse. Li Linger even trembled. She knew that Yi Chen had a domineering and cruel personality, but he never expected that he would be so cruel. Killed 200,000 imperial troops alive. Each one is above the sky control realm. What a concept. I can't even think about it. Father, I'm sorry. It's all my daughter's fault. If not. Li Linger lowered her head and sobbed. Everything was caused by himself, which caused heavy losses to the Tang dynasty. My dear daughter, it's not your fault, just take a good rest first. Qing Fengli tried his best to suppress the anger in his heart and calmed his daughter's emotions to avoid being upset about this matter. Your Majesty, what should we do? Mr. Zhan asked cautiously. If Yi Chen was allowed to do whatever he wanted, the entire imperial city would be in panic. Don't take any action for the time being. We will wait until my daughter gets married. I believe there will be a solution to the matter. At this point, we can only take one step at a time, and wait for the soldiers to come to cover up the water and earth. Time passed little by little, and in a blink of an eye, it was the day of Li Linger and Yi Yun's wedding. The imperial city was decorated with lights and colorful scenes, and there were noisy scenes everywhere to celebrate the marriage between the Tang dynasty and the Holy Land of Heavenly Sword. The palace was even more lively. Many powerful sects came to congratulate him, and some holy places even sent people to express their feelings. As the emperor of the Tang dynasty, Li Qingfeng naturally could not lose his etiquette and greeted everyone with a smile on his face. Many people wanted to leave a good impression on him and flattered him directly in person. The marriage between the Heavenly Sword Holy Land and the Tang dynasty is simply a powerful alliance, and its influence will definitely be even greater in the future. That's natural. Armed with the innate sword body and the supreme sword bone, Yi Yun will definitely become the great emperor in the future. It is not impossible to even break through to the legendary supreme realm. Li Linger is not bad either. With the Ice Phoenix divine body, he can become a powerful person in the future. The two of them are a match made in heaven. All kinds of compliments kept coming. Although Qing Fengli looks smiling on the outside, he is actually very worried in his heart because he doesn't know what will happen next. Suddenly, a familiar breath caught his attention. After a closer look, he realized that it was Yi Chen. The anger in his heart suddenly rose, and he wanted to kill this guy immediately. Prince Qingfeng, what happened? Everyone noticed that something was wrong with Qing Fengli's face, and they immediately looked at each other, wondering what could make the other person so angry. Hearing this, Qing Fengli realized that he had lost his composure. He took a long breath and slowly explained. I'm sorry, fellow Taoists, I was so excited that I couldn't control my power. Please forgive me. After all, today was a big day, and many powerful people came to watch the ceremony. He didn't want people to see the joke of the Tang dynasty royal family. Understand. The guests around him were very knowledgeable. Even if they knew that the matter was not as simple as they thought, they did not continue to ask questions. He. Yi Chen and the crowd chuckled lightly, not paying attention to Qing Fengli at all, but walked directly towards the depths of the palace. Qing Fengli frowned, said hello to many guests, and left the scene. In the blink of an eye, he chased after you and said angrily, boy, you have gone too far. I am really not afraid that I will kill you at all costs. There was a deep hatred between the two of them, but Yi Chen turned a blind eye and entered the palace. He was really crazy. Do you really think that the palace is your home? You are listening to it in Eugene Light Novels.